It's yours, boys and girls and babes. Let's go!
You're drunk. And Jen Jensen.
I can't even. I mean,
On your home of the Gamecocks.
I don't know. I'm just like, everything's going wrong, and I don't know what to do. I don't know, but I might go back to bed.
107.5.
I'm pretty good at drinking beer.
The Game.
Was actually potential audio from last night when the dads, myself, Jason Mulligan, Andrew Sayer, Trip Miller, many other dads, Reed Shelley, defeated our 9 and 10-year-old sons in soccer. I was telling Patrick I played soccer, played soccer, not kind of kicked the ball, not kind of jogged around, physically played soccer for an hour and a half last night. That was as much running as I've done in 7 years, 7 years. It's been a long time.
More than the combine?
Yeah, because that was quick, 40 seconds. Well, 40. It was about 40 seconds to run a 40-yard dash. It really was about. No, this was an hour and a half of running, and we won 4-3. And this morning, I feel like I've played a full 17-game NFL football season.
Were you involved in any of those goals?
I had one.
Scored one of them?
Scored one of the goals. Yeah.
What kind of? How was it? Is it a deep shot?
Andrew Sayer took it down the right side and kind of got down in the corner, crossed it back, and I came huffing down like a rhino with asthma. I came running down the middle of the field and opened the foot, put it in the.
One of the dads picked up the kid who was playing goalie, and moved him aside so that Bill could kick it in.
I physically hurt.
Oh, I guarantee you there is so much Ben Gay that's going to be sold today. Icy Hot.
The Icy Hot was a flowing at the Gunner household last night.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't physically played I go to the gym. I do go. Yesterday, I even went to the gym. I did the elliptical for 15 minutes and just a lightweight workout. We've given up on being any kind of calendar model. We're not really trying
3 pounds.
Huh?
3 pounds. 3 pound weights.
A little bit more than that. A little bit more. Not much, but a little bit more. Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're not showing up at Catfish Johnny's this summer shirtless trying to look bad and buff and ready to start a fight. We just don't want to be harpooned up there.
Remember the other day, Patrick, we were talking and I said, I think it was you and I that were talking about, maybe it was Miss Sharon and I, about
this is the conversations you have just around town about me now.
Yeah, about arm wrestling. Yeah, maybe I had
What was the arm wrestling conversation?
Oh, maybe I had it with Sharon then. I think I said that maybe I'd challenge you to arm wrestling. And I'm not saying that I'm super strong, but I felt like I could probably
destroy you.
Beat Bill in a arm wrestling.
I would destroy you.
Really?
Not even take more than 7 seconds.
Okay.
Just I'm hurt.
You should be able to, but
I am whipped this morning, but we will get through. So if you see me hobbling in the hallway, just be like, all right. It's there's ankle pain. QC Kinetics will be talked about a lot. Let's just go with that. QC Kinetics will get a lot of love this morning. Welcome in, Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette, Jen Jensen, Thursday morning edition of the early game, May the 19th. Great hockey game. Great hockey match last night, Patrick.
Which one? The 9-6 Battle of Alberta?
I did not stay up for that.
Yeah.
I
feel bad I missed that one.
I did not make it to that game. I did watch the Rangers and the Hurricanes. I really watched only the third period. That was when I got home. But fantastic game. 2-1 victory for the Canes. They win in overtime. And, it's interesting. I don't know if people around here, I'm feeling like hockey is becoming, and maybe because of the Canes being good, maybe because Tampa Bay and I wouldn't say Tampa's a local team. It's a Southern team.
Yeah.
That maybe there's becoming a little bit more interest, because I looked on Twitter last night and there did seem to be a little bit more of a rooting interest as to what was going on in hockey.
I was wondering that because I hadn't seen any interaction about it on the show. Nobody was texting in the morning after Hurricanes wins saying great win for the Canes, but the crowds, you can't fake the type of crowds that they're putting in PNC Arena. I don't know. I think it's definitely growing in the South. Clearly, the Florida battle that's going on right now with Tampa and Florida, Miami and Tampa, basically, they're all in. Florida's becoming a hockey state. but I don't know if it's fully infiltrated Columbia yet. I don't know what it's going to take for South Carolina to buy in. It's kind of sticking to the bigger cities in the
Yeah.
South. Like Atlanta deserves a hockey team back.
They do, and it won't in South Columbia and South Carolina will never, because you're never going to have the biggest of the big names. Like, you're never going to have an NHL team. The minor league teams when we had the Columbia Inferno was fun.
The Charlotte Checkers are fun.
Yeah, I think it's the Greenville Growl. You can go, but it's just like going to a Fireflies game.
Yeah,
you kind of go more for the environment and kind of entertainment than you do for the love of the sport. I don't know if that makes sense, but you're going there more because the people with the Fireflies do a fantastic job with promotions. They had their afternoon game yesterday, the Wednesday matinee game. You go to those games for more of entertainment. I used to go to a ton of Columbia Inferno games when I was in college. I don't know if you've ever even heard of the Columbia Inferno. It was the minor league hockey team that played at Frank McGuire Arena.
Do you remember the name of the mascot?
Sparky?
I thought it was Blaze.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yep. I said it with
Trivia.
such confidence that I confused you, but yes, I believe. But it was, and it was a great game. It was a great match. I do think Columbia could really be home to some really good minor league teams. I'm a big fan of trying to get some kind of what Charleston's got, the Battery as a minor league soccer team. I think that you could do well with a minor league soccer team here.
Soccer has so many leagues.
I have zero clue. Not even going to pretend to know. I don't know if the MLS has a minor league, but
no. But like, what is Soda City FC and the Columbia? What was it
the South Carolina Heat?
South Carolina Heat.
I'm not even sure what
they're like some level of professional.
No, they're semi-pro. They're a semi-pro team. So
I mean, isn't that what the minor league baseball is? Semi-pro.
I thought it was pro. It was just minor leagues. I don't know what the distinction
is.
They
are semi-professional. I mean, they don't make enough money to. I mean, I guess they make enough money to make a living while they're young, but you can't play in the minor leagues till you're 40, right?
You could.
You can't have a family in the minor leagues. They make like nothing, right?
That's why a lot of them they get out. I saw where Joey Pancake is in Lexington now. We've talked with Brian Jeffcoat about this, so. Yeah, a lot of things that you could end up doing with it. 803-404-6100 is how you can be a part of the program. Will enjoying so this is quality. He's loving it, enjoying it. Thank you, Will, for enjoying it. 803-404.
Quality Gamecock Talk Radio, yeah.
Yeah. We'll weigh in with your baseball thoughts. We'll read your baseball thoughts, Will.
The show's 10 minutes old.
Send in your baseball thoughts.
The show's 8 minutes old.
Send them in, and we will read them for you.
That text was sent literally 5 minutes into the show.
Jess weighing in this morning. Good morning. Miss having a hockey team in Columbia. Bring back minor league hockey. Enjoyed going to the Inferno games. And John saying, I said it with such confidence, I confused you, is my new phrase. Yep, that was a lot of confidence in Sparky. 803-404-61 if you want to 6100 if you want to be a part of the program. We'll get into some actual sports discussion. Nick Saban took a torch to Texas A&M yesterday. Yeah. Just torched Texas A&M. We'll get into that as King Nick has now gone off. I'll read you some of the quotes and let you pick the best one that you like out of what Nick Saban had.
Is it just quotes or was there audio or video of it?
It was I haven't seen audio. I haven't seen audio or video because it was at a Birmingham.
I need to find it.
You did hear it?
Okay. I haven't heard it. I read it. It was at a Birmingham. I thought it was like a business leaders meeting that he was at. I'm not real sure. Local business leaders meeting is what he was at in Birmingham. So somebody I think has. I highly doubt that was being recorded unless somebody has their cell phone.
Brad Crawford tweeted 7 hours ago video evidence of Nick Saban going off on Texas A&M.
Yeah, I heard it, so I know it's there.
It's on Brad Crawford's Twitter page.
Okay, so that was around 11 o'clock last night when I was firmly in bed. But yeah, we will get you that information coming up. Nick Saban singling out Texas A&M, and there's really no other way to describe what he said other than just absolutely calling out.
Would he have done this if Jimbo didn't call Bama out and then beat them last year?
803-404-6100. We can't. I don't want to
Bird just
tease.
flew into the window right there.
I don't want to tease it anymore because we'll go down a path of talking about it. But we'll get you that. South Carolina yesterday with a very interesting hire, Patrick. I want to get a football analyst position we would never discuss on this program. Maybe we'd mention it in passing. But Freddie Kitchens, the former Cleveland Brown head coach, and you hire him as an offensive analyst, and you bring him in. Shane Beamer last night was in Rock Hill and was talking to fans and obviously got caught up with the media a little bit there as we wanted questions or they wanted questions. And it is interesting to hear your thoughts on Freddie Kitchens, but also to hear South Carolina fans' thoughts on bringing in an NFL coach. I don't want to say to work with Marcus Satterfield, but to kind of be in the offensive film room and to maybe make suggestions. And I want to get your thoughts on how that kind of helped or may help Marcus Satterfield, but I also want to get your thoughts on Freddie Kitchens as a head coach. Like, what is South Carolina getting as a quality assistant here? And that's, I think, what the quality offensive assistant in that thought. So we got that. We'll get into plenty of other stuff coming up this morning, 8 o'clock. John Whittle will join us. We'll talk about South Carolina's baseball team. Because Will wants us to, so he wants to just talk baseball. I think he thinks they're going to make the NCAA tournament and wants to hear us talk about it. So we'll get into that a little bit this morning with him. Kerry Tharp comes up at 8:40 this morning. In between that, we got a lot to get into between now and then, but we'll get into that Nick Saban stuff from yesterday as he just absolutely annihilates Texas A&M, their recruiting practices and name, image, likeness. It's Bill Gunner. It's Patrick Perret. It's Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Here's what's coming up
on the next Extra Point.
Hey guys, Pearson Fowler here from the Extra Point, and coming up on the Wednesday edition of the Extra Point, plenty of South Carolina baseball. What happened last night? The Gamecocks hosting Charlotte in the final midweek game. A lot on the line for South Carolina. Did they stay alive? Was it the end of the road? Either way, we will look ahead to the Gamecocks' final SEC series against Florida. Talk about the NBA playoffs, the Celtics in the Heat game 1 last night. Who's got the upper hand in that one? A couple of very interesting conference finals matchups ahead of us, plus plenty more college football. A visit with Wes Mitchell to talk recruiting for South Carolina and college football in general. All that and a whole lot more coming up on the Extra Point.
The Extra Point
With Pearson, Preston, and Gamecock Central.
9 a.m. to noon
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
We do have a couple of accidents to let you know about this early Thursday morning. Fairfield Road, just north of I-20, a report of a tie-up there. Also, Main Street, just west of Ramblin' Road. And your forecast, yep, the heat is definitely here. Hot and muggy today, 97, 98 tomorrow with more heat. On Saturday, 93. Could see some afternoon or evening storms. Shocking, isn't it? Right now, though, it's 71 at 107.5 The Game.
This is Boomer Esiason with the CBS Sports Minute. In prior World Cups, the last place U.S. men's national team earned more in FIFA bonus money than the first place women's squad did. However, the Men's and Women's Players Association's new collective bargaining agreements with the U.S. Soccer Federation mandate equal pay, 50-50 revenue sharing, and even first ever child care for the men's team moving forward. I'm Boomer Esiason.
CBS Sports Radio.
Take
I don't. 20 million is still a lot. What's his name? Yeah.
rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119. Mention me, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game, and you'll get a hallway cleaned for free. Schedule online at zeroescolumbia.com.
Metz Plumbing is growing and looking.
Bill, did you go to the Charleston Stingrays?
I have not been to the Charleston Stingrays. I think that's one thing as you get older. I don't know.
They can't hear you.
I find it harder and harder to get to certain sporting events. I do not screw this up this time. Yay. Ooh, almost did that. It was actually a pretty busy day in the college football world yesterday. Some recruiting news, Patrick. I don't know if you saw Jordan Addison, the wide receiver from Pittsburgh that we had talked about, kind of mentioned as maybe one of the name, image, likeness players that looked around, the former Bolitnikoff Award winner. A lot of rumors that he was going to go to Southern Cal. He's narrowed it down to two schools, and they're kind of at the top of the name, image, likeness discussion. One is indeed Southern Cal. The other is Texas. He's narrowed it down to two schools after transferring out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah, shocker. Two number one quarterbacks in the country, Caleb Williams and Quinn Ewers, the two guys that he probably wants to play with. I was listening to Brett McMurphy talking about how like Caleb Williams initiated the conversations with Jordan Addison and was like, hey, you should just throw your name in the portal and see what you can get, like, or come to Southern Cal. Like, we'll definitely pay you. I feel like that is going to be one of the blurriest lines in all of, because in the NBA and stuff like that, like LeBron has been called out for potential tampering, like tweeting at players. How are they ever gonna battle that in college football? Like, how is that ever gonna not be acceptable? Like, if Bryce Young is friends with a guy that played at Mater Dei who goes to Southern Cal and he's like, hey, we need another receiver. You could come here and start at Bama year one. You could definitely make a lot of money. I'm making a lot of money. Why don't you come here?
That's going to be the thing about the tampering, is that there's just too many back channels that can be had. I'm trying to think right now, just very quickly off the top of my head, of maybe a South Carolina or Clemson player where the high school they went to, or maybe they're familiar with the high school, has an elite prospect that they could easily just go home to work out with this summer and be like, oh, you should come. And I'm just talking about a high school prospect. Because the month of May, typically these high school players, the college players, they go back to their hometown. They get their 1 month basically off out of the 12 months of the year. They go back home and, some will go hang around their high school and work out. The high school coaches will encourage them to come back. Well, if you've got an elite prospect there and you've got, let's just use Spencer Rattler, because he's obviously a big time name and has some mega NIL deals that we're at least aware of, the Chevrolet one. But what if he goes back to his high school and he had like a 5-star, defensive end or running back? Now, Spencer Rattler's hopefully, you hope, not going to be on campus next year, but he's working out with that guy and be like, you really ought to come to South Carolina. I've already been told. Chevrolet has already told me, you get a new truck. And the same thing with Alabama. You get these kids, they go back. Well, is that recruiting or is that tampering? If like you said, if two guys are at different colleges and they go hang out and they work out over the summer, and just as you just mentioned, Caleb Williams is like, hey, man, got a pretty sweet apartment here in Southern Cal. Pretty good school. We got a chance to win a championship. Lincoln Riley's a good coach, and I'm pretty sure you got a chance for an NIL deal that's upwards of $1 million or $2 million. Yeah, just throw your name in the portal. I'm pretty sure we'll take you.
Even if it's like, hey, what are you making at Pittsburgh right now? He just asks him that. What do you make in Pittsburgh? And Jordan Addison says X amount of money. He could say, well, I bet you could probably make more. What's it hurt? Just throw your name in the portal. Let them recruit you. Worst case, you go back to Pittsburgh. You don't hate it at Pittsburgh, but maybe you could be doing better. Why don't you just throw your name in the portal and see what happens? And then now he's a free agent. And every high profile player is you could advise every high profile player to put their name in the transfer portal every offseason just to solicit offers.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're naive. I think you're naive if you don't realize, and I'm trying to pull up real quick. Coaches are out on the road right now recruiting. South Carolina coaches are out, Clemson coaches, all coaches are out. They're going by and they're visiting high school spring games, stopping by, checking out prospects and the upcoming classes. And as they go to one of those schools, let's just hypothetically say for a second, in South Carolina's case, we'll use this as I try to pull up the roster. I was trying to get you the exact school that Jaheim Bell is from, but as a assistant coach goes by that school and they're kind of hanging out, maybe talking a little bit with maybe a coach there, and they're kind of going back and forth, and that assistant from a certain college or from any college just kind of reaches out and says, hey, how's Jaheim doing up at South Carolina? He liking it up there? Coaches, the high school coach says, yeah, he kind of enjoys it. What's he getting in NIL money? Maybe the high school coach says, I don't know. I hadn't talked to him about that. And college coach X says, well, if he wants to transfer, we'd take him. And I'm pretty sure I got 3 boosters who could get him $1 million. I mean, that's tampering, but you're being naive if that's not happening, in my opinion. Like there's too much dirty stuff that happens in college recruiting as a whole to not believe that assistant coaches aren't on the road, and as they're going by these spring games, they're kind of maybe bumping into the high school head coach or an assistant coach or maybe a handler who's there on the sideline and saying, oh, what's this former player doing at that school, and would they be interested in transferring? I don't know what's worse, because Patrick, if there was if you separated them and there wasn't name, image, likeness, and there wasn't the one-time or there wasn't the one-time transfer, because they go hand in hand.
Yeah, right now they do.
They really go hand in hand. Like, if you still had to sit out a year, but you could transfer for a name, image, likeness deal, I think that would deter some players. Or if you could transfer for 1 year, or transfer without penalty, but there wasn't the name, image, likeness maybe drawing you, would you necessarily just transfer to transfer? Which one do you think is the worst cause? The ability, because the fact that you can do both makes it super easy now.
Yeah, pretty much makes your initial, because I don't know, I guess it's different for the Texas A&M recruiting class. They paid whatever $30 million to buy that recruiting class, but that's the thing. They're not all going to play. They have 10 5-star defensive linemen or something ridiculous. They're not all going to play. One of them just throws his name in the portal next year and just cashes out with another deal. That's just what it's going to be. And then for tampering, what would the punishment be if you got caught tampering? A transfer portal ban? How do you even, you just lose your job? You get suspended? I don't even know how you punish that if the situation you just described, somebody got caught doing that, talking to a high school coach saying, what's X player making at that school?
I don't know. And again, it's all going to be interesting to see how it gets handled. And last night at meeting at a Alabama or a Birmingham business leaders meeting, Nick Saban had some very pointed comments for Texas A&M or regarding Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher. We'll let you listen to that. We've got him. Jen has tracked him down. We'll let you listen to those exact comments when we come back. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Want to go see the Columbia Fireflies? Be listening for your chance to win tickets all this week on 107.5 The Game.
And time to tell you about our friends at Canty Foundation Specialists. 803-424-8380 is their number. They've been proudly serving North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia with offices in Columbia, Greenville, Augusta, Charlotte, and Charleston. They offer quality products, proven services, and professional experience to permanently repair any foundation or crawl space problems you might have. Some signs of foundation problems would be cracks. They could be in your exterior brick, above your windows or door frames, above your garage door. You could have doors or windows that stick or uneven or bouncy floors, all signs of foundation problems that you will want to get Canty out there to check out. Again, 803-424-8380 is their number, and they also will work on your crawl spaces. Crawl spaces are a big problem if you have an open crawl space and recently experienced a storm. You could have standing water under your home, and that could cause high humidity and condensation in your crawl space to create an environment for mold, mildew, and pests, including termites. That moisture can lead to wood rot and floor joist problems and create awful odors coming from the mold and mildew, which can cause health issues like runny nose, itchy eyes, and coughs. 50% of the air you breathe in your home comes from your crawl space, so you need to get it taken care of, and Canty Foundation Specialists are the ones to call. 803-424-8380 is the number if you want to call them. Visit them on the web at cantycanfixit.com. And they can also offer you concrete repair services, concrete leveling, commercial services, or basement waterproofing. So anything involving the foundation of your home, Canty is who you need to talk to. 803-424-8380 is the number to call, or visit them on the web at cantycanfixit.com.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
Couple slowdowns out there earlier Thursday morning to let you know about. Fairfield Road, just north of I-20. Also, you'll find an accident Main Street, just west of Ramblin' Road. The forecast for today, warm. Okay, just plain hot. Hot and muggy, 97 for the high, 98 tomorrow. Starting off not too bad, 71 at 107.5 The Game.
Why choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because our Sleep Number 360 smart bed is really smart. It senses your movement and automatically adjusts to help keep you both comfortable. Plus, it's temperature balancing, so you stay cool. It's even smart enough to know exactly how long, how well, and when you slept, and to help you get almost 30 minutes more restful sleep per night. Sleep Number takes care of the science. All you have to do is sleep. And now, during our Memorial Day sale, save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed Queen, now only $19.99, only for limited time. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
My heart was racing just making spaghetti. I could have waited to tell my doctor, but I didn't wait.
I was short of breath just reading a book. I could have delayed telling my doctor, but I didn't wait.
They told their doctors and found out they have atrial fibrillation, a condition which makes it about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. If you have one or more of these symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, this is no time to wait. Contact your doctor.
Brought to you by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Love getting prices that are lower than low on food that's fresher than fresh? Then shop at Kroger. We give you more ways to save on the fresh you love with tools like the Kroger app, where you can find personalized coupons on top of weekly sales, giving you prices that are lower than the everyday.
So I addressed the bot situation. We'll see if it works. I put in the keywords. I had to type all kinds of things. Had to wash my hands when I was done.
Buddy, they definitely do. They have a chance to win the Stanley Cup.
Who?
The Hurricanes.
Oh, yeah.
Every team left for sure can win the Stanley Cup.
Oh, I agree. Well, I don't think the Rangers can. I think they're a few years away. The end last night, all their guys on the ice were 24 or younger.
Yeah, and their goalie is super young. He's awesome, though. I heard a cool description of their goalie, how most goalies are just they just watch the puck and stop shots basically. But that goalie, Shesterkin, is like so hockey smart that he sets and calls out the defense and like explains the flow of the defense and is like on the same page with his defenseman as to how to defend and create clear sight lines and things like that. So he's just a hockey savant. Colorado's the obvious favorite in the betting lines, yeah, but I mean, Florida won the President's Trophy and Tampa's won back-to-back Stanley Cups, so can't really count any of them out. The Canes' only issue, I mean, not even really an issue, is just they don't have a superstar. Every other team pretty much has a superstar. They're just a solid team, a really solid team. I think like Sebastian Aho is bordering on star.
Max Homa.
Dark horse to win.
Dark horse, yeah.
His playing partner dropped out, though.
Shambo. 6:33 on a Thursday morning, May the 19th. PGA Championship gets going here in about an hour and a half. We'll talk a little bit about that this morning here later on. But right now we've been talking about what is going on with transferring and name, image, likeness. And yesterday or last night, speaking at a local business leaders event in Birmingham, Alabama, Nick Saban had some very direct comments about name, image, likeness, and specifically Texas A&M. Here's what he had to say last night in Birmingham, Alabama.
You should make a decision based on where you have the best chance to develop as a person, as a student, and as a player, which is what we've always tried to major in. And we're going to continue to do that. And hopefully there's enough people out there that want to do it. But I know the consequence is going to be difficult for the people who are spending tons of money to get players. And you've read about them. You know who they are. I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it.
A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, likeness. We didn't buy one player. Which one is
more true?
Which one is more true?
I don't think A&M bought every player. There's definitely some kids from East Texas that dreamed of going to A&M. Alabama definitely bought somebody.
I mean, I get it that as a head coach from my time in recruiting, the head coach has to try to remove himself. I know in basketball, a lot of assistant coaches would tell me that they would go for a job interview with certain head coaches, not all, but certain head coaches. And the head coach would say, your job is to bring in the best players possible. I'm hiring you to recruit. And your job is to bring in the best players possible. And I don't care how you do it. And I don't want to know how you do it. But your job, that's why I'm hiring you. That's why you're interviewing for this position. And that was meaning go out and do whatever it takes. But don't tell me what you did. Don't bring me into the equation. You just get the player. Now then you've got the wiretaps in college basketball. You've got Will Wade and Sean Miller who are almost completely involved. They're the ones handling it. So you say all that, but it's interesting. And Buckeye Eric on our text line says Saban thinks Eli Ricks didn't get the bag. Who knows? I mean, look, Alabama is the one
Tyler
school.
Harrell, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Alabama is the one school that because of what they can offer, yeah, maybe he can say that, and we all go, oh, okay, you are Alabama. But I also think in these times, if Texas A&M is out there doing this and other schools are out there doing this, Alabama's not sitting behind going, oh, no, we're pure and clean and we're not doing anything. Yeah. But to have a coach, Patrick, go here with this, because this is what it is. To have a coach use the sentence, A&M was, he talking about in recruiting, A&M was first in recruiting. A&M bought every player on their team. Bought every player. Now, I guess technically he's not accusing them of cheating because
It's kind of allowed.
it's allowed, I reckon, with name, image, likeness. Now, again, there's some gray area with how you can obviously boosters are not supposed to be part of the recruiting process. It's a deal for when a player gets on campus that then they can connect with a booster at that point. That's how name, image, likeness works. You're not supposed to, college coaches are not supposed to talk about it. But I mean, to have a coach call out a team in his own division that beat him this year.
Doesn't that quote actually makes me think, not that I really thought Nick Saban was involved in any sort of cheating or funny business, but that actually makes me more confident that he's not. Because there's kind of an agreement, I would think, with people that know that everyone's playing with a blurry rule book, that you just don't mention it. And it's kind of like we have this conversation every time Dan Snyder gets into some trouble. The owners aren't going to go out. The other owners aren't going to go after him because they know what they're doing too. I mean, they know that their hands aren't clean. So you're not going to go get him in trouble when it could just come right back at you. If Nick Saban is just blatantly calling out Texas A&M saying they're buying every player, he's probably pretty confident that he's actually doing it the right way, because why would, if Jimbo knows something and they've worked together, Jimbo's been his assistant. So if Jimbo knows something, why would Jimbo not just the very next day be like, what are you talking about? I worked for you for however many years. You're of course buying players.
He's the weird thing, and where we stand in college football is what Nick Saban yesterday said. I think it's inflammatory. I do think it's inflammatory.
It's definitely inflammatory.
But he's not accusing them of rule breaking
per se.
That's kind of the weird thing about this, is because I think if this was done under the table and was illegal, Nick Saban wouldn't say anything. I think that's where the unwritten rule of if you're playing a little dirty and we're playing a little dirty, we just have to accept that we're all dirty and that we're playing dirty together. And we're not going to call you out and you're not going to call me out. Nick Saban's specifically pointing to what college football has allowed. Now, what I think is kind of crazy about it is to hear a coach come out and single out. He could have just said, look, we know there are other teams in recruiting that bought every player. I mean, that's the easiest thing to say, is that we know there are other teams out there that use name, image, likeness to build an elite. He could have said an elite level recruiting class, and you go, oh, he's talking about Texas A&M.
Everyone would have known what he was talking about.
But he specifically said A&M. He specifically called out a program. He specifically called out a coach that did beat him last year, which is kind of entertaining. And some people will say now that's whiny and that's being a brat. But it's interesting as to where we are in college football today when the head guy, basically, Nick Saban, doesn't just call out the rules and what we're allowing, but he specifically points to that program is the devil. That program right there is everything now that's bad with what the rules are that you've allowed.
It is weird why he's doing that, because maybe it's more transfer portal, not NIL, but he did also come out at the very beginning of NIL and say our quarterback's never played a game and is making $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And then also they're cleaning up in the transfer portal. They've gotten an NFL caliber running back, a couple NFL caliber wide receivers. They got Toto last year, and they're just absolutely stacking their Eli Ricks will be a first-round pick, just stacking their roster with first-round NFL talent out of the transfer portal. Every position that they're not recruiting a 5-star that's coming in and playing at an NFL level, they're just bringing in a transfer. So everything is working out to his direct advantage. I don't know why he's unhappy at all.
There'll be 1 or 2, 3. I don't know. Actually, I was going to say 1, but I guess Georgia lost a lot, so maybe they or Ohio State is one of the top 2 teams when the preseason polls roll out. I went to initially say, and I think it'll probably be Alabama, but it is interesting to hear him say that. Anthony weighs in on our live stream and says Nick Saban is speaking on the NIL, but yet how many titles has Alabama really purchased under the table? And he's going back into the 70s on that one. It's interesting, and it tells you where we're at in college football these days, when not only does Nick Saban, of all people, not just call out the rule that is. Again, I if he'd have gone off on some weird tangent about name, image, likeness, we would be talking about it. To me, it's the fact that he singled out that program over there that beat me last year and now had the better recruiting class than we had this past year, and they did it because they just bought every player with name, image, likeness.
He definitely hates Jimbo, right? I don't get the impression that if Georgia had the number 1 recruiting class, he would call out Kirby Smart and Georgia for buying every player.
I don't know. I mean,
I think he has a good relationship with Kirby. It seems like, but he definitely hates Jimbo.
I don't know if he hates. I thought they were kind of buddy before the game last year. Now maybe things changed during the game. We'll continue talking about this. We need to get into South Carolina hiring Freddie Kitchens yesterday as an offensive analyst. It's interesting because of his background, and I want to hear Patrick's take on Freddie Kitchens as a coach. 803-404-6100. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Going to be in the 90s today and all weekend. Great time to get outside, play some golf, go swimming, whatever it might be. Or maybe you're just sore from playing with your youth soccer team or against your son's youth soccer team yesterday. Either way, you might have some joint pain from that, and you want to be feeling your best this summer. So you need to check out our friends at Prisma Health Orthopedics. They are the official team physicians for the South Carolina Gamecocks and Clemson Tigers, so you know that they will take care of you just like they do the top athletes in the state. They are the official team physicians of the South Carolina Gamecocks, but they're also the most comprehensive orthopedic group in the region. They've got 65 specialists across 6 locations so they can serve you wherever you might be in the state. So if hip and knee pain is making your daily life difficult, you need to seek the best care and find out if it's affecting your quality of life by getting out there and taking a free health assessment. Don't let that hip or knee pain hold you back. Prisma is the region's most trusted orthopedic practice. They've got a deep-rooted history that spans nearly a century, and they have long been leaders in innovative procedures and teaching the next generation of orthopedic physicians. They offer a full-service walk-in orthopedic urgent care clinic for all sports injuries, strains, sprains, fractures, or just chronic joint pain. They know that hip and knee pain can make your daily life difficult, so they want to find out if it's affecting your quality of life by getting out there, and you want to take that free health assessment. They've built a foundation for patient-centered care and innovation that results in the best possible services for their patients. So what you want to learn more, get out there and take the free health assessment. Visit them on the web at prismahealth.org/orthopedics. That's prismahealth.org/orthopedics.
Patrick has been sent some audio that we'll get to Jen and play in a little while on a Jimbo Fisher. Yeah, Jen will get it and get it cut. We'll play it in the next hour. But on a Jimbo Fisher rant, I think you're right. I was listening to it off air with you. I think there's been a falling out of sorts with Fisher and with
This was also
Saban.
the headline of this video is also fires back at Nick Saban and Lane Kiffin.
Okay,
So
yeah.
there's drama within the Saban family. Some of the siblings aren't getting along.
Yeah,
very
we've all been there. Memorial Day is just around the corner. You're probably aware of the fact that you're gonna have to get together with some family members, and that can be a little awkward and uneasy. You don't always agree with your aunt or your uncle, and that's
Where's Will Muschamp fall in all this? That's what I want to know.
Muschamp and Kirby right now are just hanging out in Athens, going, man, the rest of those family members are crazy. We'll just collect our championship ring right here and do our own thing and stay away from those Western Division guys, all in the Western Division. We'll get into, by the way, NCAA yesterday. A lot to get to this morning. You got the Saban stuff. You had yesterday the NCAA Division I Council waiving the initial counter scholarship limit. You talk about recruiting. This is another thing that Todd hits us up. Now, Todd's our resident Alabama fan. So Nick Saban could do a lot of bad things and Todd would stand up for him. And Todd, you sent in a great text message. I'm just going to read the first part of it, but I do agree with what Todd is saying. He said Nick Saban realizes what's going on is bad for college football, but at the same time, he's playing the game that's put in front of him and he's doing it better than anyone else. Well, one contradiction, Todd, he's not doing it better than Jimbo Fisher, clearly, if you look at the recruiting rankings. But I agree, Todd, I'm not going to read the rest of your text message, but I agree with what Todd is saying about the road that college football is on. And yesterday, this to me is another sign of people not realizing what's going on. The NCAA Division I Council announced Wednesday it is waiving the initial counter scholarship limits for 2 years within Division I football. Previously, teams had been limited to 25 initial counters or scholarship spots per year with high school prospects and transfers. Now, this harkens back to the day of Bear Bryant going out and signing the top 7 quarterbacks in the Southeast. That way, other schools couldn't get them. It was brilliant. It says, even if programs were under, this is what is occurring yesterday, even if programs were under the 85 total scholarship limit, if they had reached the annual 25 limit, they could not sign any more players. With the increase in popularity of the transfer portal, the council announced in October they approved a 1-year waiver to allow teams to go over the 25 limit by up to 7 scholarships. So they were up to 32. We've talked about that last year, trying to figure out the numbers and do all that. We would always reference 32. Now, however, there is no limit on it. And I don't know what this is going to do, because now you can go out and just recruit willy-nilly. You're not really worried about what exactly the number is going to be. So, again, this past year, we talked about it, 25 guys and then like 7 transfers. A program could have gone up to 32 scholarships this past year if it had lost. That was the other part about it. It had to lose 7 players in the transfer. Now, it's just unlimited. And that's not very good. That's awful as well.
Well, the numbers game has got to be so hard for coaches to play right now anyway, because you just never know how many kids are going to leave, how many to bring in, how many spots to save for the transfer portal. So the job is just impossible. I don't know what would be the correct solution. What's the right number?
I can see going to 30. I can see allowing 32 or 30, going over 25. You have to. Roster management nowadays is more difficult for college coaches than it's ever been. I mean, let's be honest. South Carolina took 2 quarterbacks in the last recruiting cycle in Tanner Bailey and Braden Davis. They now have Tanner Bailey, Braden Davis, Colton Gauthier, and Luke Doty as scholarship quarterbacks, and then Spencer Rattler, who we don't expect to stay more than 1 year. But you got 4 guys that 2 of them are true freshmen. One of them's a redshirt freshman. So you got 3 guys that are all very young, and then you got Luke Doty, who's now COVID year and everything. I guess technically he'll be a sophomore or will have 3 years. I'm not
with
real
a degree.
Yeah, I don't.
A
But
sophomore with a degree.
you get the point. He's a junior in terms of how many years he's played. But if I offered you those 4 guys, Patrick, it's crazy to think that more than one. Again, take out Spencer Rattler because he's a hired assassin for 1 year to come in and win you 9-10 games. and then he moves on to the NFL, hopefully is what you're hoping. But with those 4 guys, and they're recruiting, by the way, a top 10 quarterback in this class in Dylan Longerin out of Georgia. That'll give you 5 that are all really young. Let's just throw the incoming recruit in, if it's Longerin and whomever. 5 guys. How many finish their career at South Carolina?
Well, definitely one of the 2 freshmen is not going to. Whoever's lower on the depth chart is just going to end up transferring. That's how it's going to work for every school. If one of them beats out Gauthier, he's going to probably go. If one of them beats out Doty, he'll just grad transfer. He'll just get his degree and say, I'm grad transferring. Realistically, of those, it's going to be a whole new cast of characters.
Like
Probably,
that's just
probably, if we're not counting Rattler, 2 of them will graduate from South Carolina, at best.
I was going to ask you the over-under is 1.5. If you take out Rattler and you include the whoever South Carolina takes in this class as a quarterback, and maybe it's Longerin or bust.
Well, the only way it's more than 1 is if Rattler leaves for the NFL, Doty ends up starting, and then one of them will wait behind Doty.
One of them, excuse me. And the reason I go back to that is because I think now in every recruiting class, you have to take 2 quarterbacks. Look at what happened to Clemson this year. With transfers at the quarterback position, they did bring Hunter Johnson back in, and they get Cade Klubnik, but you lost so many that also there was no depth at that position. And Shane Beamer's talked about depth at the quarterback position. So the one thing about the waiving of the initial counter, I think in every class, and I think this goes for 98% of the schools out there, maybe Alabama, maybe that quarterback or 2 quarterbacks goes there, and they're willing to wait it out like we've seen, but I don't think there's any program. There's few, if any, programs out there immune. You look at Georgia, Brock Vandergriff, Gunnar Stockton. We just saw JT Daniels transfer. Stetson Bennett's still holding down that job. I think Carson Beck, who was a 4-star recruit, I think he's still there. But he's pretty much, I think, just figured out I'm going to hang out in Athens and get a degree and maybe collect 1 more ring. It's kind of crazy, and that's another thing. We'll get back into that Nick Saban stuff from yesterday. We'll get into the Freddie Kitchens stuff. I wanted to do that this segment, but we got into the Division I Council waiving the scholarship limitations there as it pertains to recruiting and taking transfers, which, again, I think is just I'm not tuning away. I'm not tuning away from college football, Patrick, but I'm definitely becoming –
You're shaking your fist.
Less of a – there's a cloud out there that I'm shaking at right now that I'm just – but I'm not going to stop watching.
I'm going to keep watching, but I'm not going to be happy about it. I will never stop watching, but I will not be satisfied.
I'm not going to stop enjoying it, but I'm not going to be really happy about it. Hour number 2 next. About an hour away from tee off at Southern Hills Country Club in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The PGA Championship will get going. Tiger Woods in the field. Should be a lot of fun.
Keith Klein will be there.
Huh?
Keith Klein will be there.
Really?
Apparently. He texted me yesterday and said, when are you going to Austin? I said, Saturday and Sunday. He said, oh, maybe we'll pass you in the airport. I'll be coming home from Tulsa. Yeah, okay.
Wait, did he say he's going to the PGA Championship?
What
Or did he
else
say
would
he's
he
going
doing?
to... Man, Heath goes to some places that, like, none of us would go for no reason whatsoever.
Oh, we leave from there for Tulsa. He's going to Tulsa on Saturday. What else would he be doing?
Again, Heath goes places that none of us would just...
Checking out the Tulsa...
World Convention Fair.
What's their mascot? The...
Hurricanes. Golden Hurricanes.
They're just the Golden Hurricanes.
I think it's...
Checking out Golden Hurricanes spring workouts.
Might be getting in, yeah.
He has to be going to the golf tournament.
That's what Craig says. He must listen to
He's
Heath.
going Sunday. Okay, yeah. I didn't even ask because I thought it was obvious.
So this is what happens. I went to the PGA Championship last year on Sunday. He's like, screw Gunner. I'm going this year on Sunday.
I'm not going to be
think
one
you
up.
know what did he tell me to look for in the Austin airport?
A guy with a...
No.
Oh, what did he tell you to look for? Some food joint?
No, it was
Texas Pete.
Earl Campbell's Heisman on top of his taco truck.
That's right.
I remember us talking about
Okay,
this.
yeah. So, okay. So Heath Klein will be...
So I'll stop by Earl's Tacos, take a picture of Earl Campbell's
Please do.
Heisman trophy on top of his taco truck.
Please do. Yeah. So anyway, the PGA Championship gets going here in about an hour. Should be a lot of fun out. It should be an interesting week. Bryson DeChambeau withdrawing yesterday after his practice round. I'm not sure where, DeChambeau has kind of been able to now move himself out of the discussion for the Saudi tournament and everything. He was initially caught up in all that. And then, whether he was injured or whether he wasn't injured, I don't know, but he's kind of removed himself, gotten his name, although Phil Mickelson jumped in with both feet, knees, hips, and basically just was like, don't worry, I'll be the really bad guy in this situation, and kind of took the spotlight away from DeChambeau as it pertains to that. But, Patrick, I think there's a legitimate question about if Bryson DeChambeau ever becomes the golfer that he was kind of on the path to being. And it's not because
there's no shot.
It's more of, we've talked with Kyle Thompson, the way he trained and swings with the power. And if that's the way he wants to play and that's the way he wants to be known as a golfer, I'm not sure the body is built for that. I've talked to a couple people who play golf, and what DeChambeau does in golf, and it's fascinating. It's fun to watch. It really is. I'm not sure what I think of him as a person, but watching him play golf is a lot of fun. But I'm not sure the human body is built. The wrist, the knees, the back.
I was trying to think of another sport or another person to compare it to, like a NFL player that just had to retire early because he got too many concussions or because he played with reckless abandon. I was actually thinking it might be similar to Derrick Rose, and what people are saying that the concern is for Ja Morant going forward is he's just so springy and athletic that at some point his body's not going to be able to do that, and it's not going to end well. And Derrick Rose was outrageous during his MVP season, and then just tore his ACL, and it was never the same.
It's weird. You're bringing that. Austin was talking about that last night,
Like
2012. Yeah, I think it was when he tore his ACL
Yeah.
and kind of really has never been the same. Was never the same after that. Was with the Bulls, but
I don't know how Bryson DeChambeau is going to come back. He's already 30, right?
I
He's
think,
not as young as I would have as it would appear that he is, because I feel like he's relatively new to the spotlight. Oh, he's 28. He'll be 29 in September.
The thing about DeChambeau is he could come back. He's going to have to just change. He's going to have to make a complete 180 in his golf game and change how he wants to play and kind of what he wants to be known for.
But
Like,
he's not that good outside of that, right?
He's got, he's not a bad golfer. I don't know if he's better.
But he can't win tournaments without absolutely bombing drives, right?
He's not the technician, or he's not as skilled, I think, as Scheffler or Rahm or McIlroy or Thomas or Morikawa. Dustin Johnson did hit it a long way. He was actually being outdriven last week when I was watching. But Dustin Johnson is a really good golfer. He's DeChambeau's on the PGA Tour. Let's be clear. He's
obviously good.
He's good, but you're right. Can he go out and beat a Patrick Cantlay? He couldn't beat Cantlay in that huge playoff at the end of last year that was fascinating to watch. but we'll see. But he withdrew yesterday from the PGA Championship. They'll get going this morning. Alan says compare it to Tiger Woods, but Alan, Tiger Woods we'll never see another golfer like Tiger Woods. And in terms of the physical body, like the body, what Tiger had to do, I was watching the Golf Channel had a documentary, like a shorter documentary on all of Woods' victories at the PGA Championship. And one of them, he was talking about how I think it was in the 90s. I think it was 99. I'd have to go back and look at the year, but because I had it on TV and I kind of started watching. But he was talking about how I think it was the 99 PGA Championship. I need to go back and look. It was his second one. I know that. And he said that it was one of the more gratifying experiences. That one was one of the more gratifying majors in his lifetime because he had completely torn down his golf swing. He didn't like where it was after dominating the tour. I think it was the 2006 championship, is maybe his third because it wasn't 2000. But he said he tore down his golf swing and completely rebuilt it and went out and won. And that's the thing. There's not a lot of Kyle Thompson could answer this better. There's not many people who could just completely tear down their golf swing and rebuild it and be what Tiger Woods was and as dominant as he became.
I don't know the technical or physical meaning of what that means. Like completely rebuilding. Like I don't like for DeChambeau, I don't know what would that mean. Just less torque.
Less torque. Trying.
I don't know what to compare that to. I mean, you see like basketball players adjust their shooting form and like quarterbacks will tighten up their mechanics and things like that. But I just don't know how big of a deal or drastic of a change that is. I can't wrap my mind around it, but I guess you never really hear about it. So it's unheard of.
Yeah. And Alan clarifies, he says the physical part, not the golf cart. DeChambeau is like Tiger, but 10 times more intense. Yes, he is. He is 10 times more intense. So
by far the most intense, right, to ever play.
He's got to be up there. He is a very interesting guy, but he will not be a part of it this coming weekend. Again, they'll get going here in about an hour, I believe, is when they will when they'll tee off. First group will be John Daly. John Daly will go off in the first group there on number 1. Sean McKeel and Y.E. Yang will tee off. Really gets going. The morning is a little slow out there. Hideki Matsuyama, Alexander Schauffele, and Tony Finau tee off at 8:30. I'm looking at it's my hour time.
So who's with Max Homa now?
Tyrell Hatton, Denny McCarthy, and Max Homa tee off at 8:49 this morning. Hovland, Zalatoris, and Cam Smith at 9 a.m. Jordan Spieth, Roy McIlroy, and Tiger Woods will go off at 9:11. No, the PGA put together some solid groups here for.
I mean, that's going to be. Is that what they want? Just everybody crowding around one group, because that's arguably the 3 biggest names in golf.
Yeah, I mean they're going to draw a strong. Spieth was the guy that we talked about.
Just for crowd control purposes, I was thinking maybe you want to split those guys up.
Going off, not about. I mean, again, you look at the groups. Patrick Reed, Justin Rose, and Bubba Watson at 922 is not a bad group going off. Yeah, it's not. Look, there's no group that's going to compare to Spieth, McIlroy, and Woods. Let's be clear about that. But Reed, Rose, and Watson is a pretty strong group that'll go off. You get Cameron Young, Sam Burns at 944 this morning. Just a few other groups that you can look for this morning if you're kind of keeping an eye on it, and then everything will switch to the afternoon. But 203 is really when things get going again. Shane Lowry, Brooks Koepka, and Adam Scott.
How can you watch it at 9 o'clock live?
I think it's streaming. Okay. It's streaming. ESPN starts their coverage today at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, so, I mean, I will not be able for that, but I would actually watch. That's enough. And that's 9 Eastern?
Yeah.
Tulsa's an hour behind, I think.
Tulsa's an hour behind, so they will, at 6 o'clock, they'll get going.
I mean, Tiger, Rory, and Spieth is enough for me to tune in and just watch that group. Yeah.
Okay. Yep, 803-404-6100 if you want to weigh in. Richard saying nobody talking about my boy Cam Smith. So he's Cam Smith. People I've watched. A lot of people, though, are on Jordan Spieth, and we'll see. I think both of us talked yesterday about him, and we'll see. He dropped, by the way. I don't know if anybody saw this. Yesterday morning when we talked about him at 10:30, he dropped about 250 points, depending on what website where you looked at. One of the ones I was looking at, he was plus 1950 yesterday, especially during the show at 10:30. I was looking at it at noon. he was plus 1,700.
We're line movers.
We are line movers.
That's what we said.
We promoted. Kyle Thompson did a good job of that yesterday. 803-404-6100. So PGA Championship getting going out today at Southern Hills Country Club in Tulsa. 7,481 yards. You know the defending champion, Phil Mickelson, but he is not there this weekend. I doubt he will even be watching. I would imagine for him, this has got to be gut-wrenching to not even be a part of the event to defend.
He's having a garage sale out in his yard. He can't watch. He sold his TV.
Yeah, his garage sale though is in an airplane hangar where
he sold his television. He can't watch it.
803-404-6100. We'll get into this. We've kind of teased it most of the morning. We need to get into it in the next segment. South Carolina yesterday. Very rarely, Patrick, would we ever discuss South Carolina hiring a quality control assistant. Very rarely would we might mention, oh yeah, they hired so-and-so. Okay, and then move on. Yeah, but this one is really interesting. Freddie Kitchens, former Cleveland Brown head coach. He's been associated in some way with Shane Beamer for a while as friends, going back to 2004 when they were on the same staff at Mississippi State. But it's also interesting from the standpoint of Marcus Satterfield, because I'm very interested to hear your opinion, your offensive opinion of Freddie Kitchens. And do you think he can help South Carolina? His philosophies, what you've seen from him as a coach in the NFL, what he did with Baker Mayfield. They were 6-10 in his 1 year with the Browns.
Yeah, but things went well when he was the interim.
True, and that's why I'm
the
going
offensive coordinator. Yeah.
So I want to get your take on this, because big picture, him coming in, big picture, offensive quality control, senior analyst, whatever title you want to give him. Yeah, he's not going to be recruiting, or he's not going to be recruiting off campus. He's not going to be calling plays, I assume, in the game. But what you think he can bring to the table to maybe help both either Spencer Rattler, the offense, or Marcus Satterfield. We'll get your opinion on that. It's Bill Gunner. It's Patrick Perrette. It's Jen Jensen. It's 7:13 on a Thursday morning. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Did you see Bush's quote yesterday? George Bush was talking and said something about I'll read you the quote. It was a bad slip of tongue.
You still find an accident Main Street just west of Ramblin' Road. Also, Highway 1 near Watling Road, an accident there. And working an earlier tie-up, Fairfield Road, just north of I-20.
Yeah.
Going to be hot for the next couple days. Hot and muggy, 97 today, 98 tomorrow. Might see some afternoon or evening storms coming in Saturday, and a high of 93. It's 71 right now at 107.5 The Game.
Like everyone was comparing this exact thing to our invasion.
Debbie, good. Hear me?
I got you.
All right, in 3, 2, 1. Waking up each and every morning, getting ready for a sports talk show. I better have had a great night of sleep. And with a sleep number bed, that is exactly what I get. Bill Gunner for a sleep number. I put that sleep number setting on 45, and I wake up rested, refreshed, ready to go. Did you know Sleep IQ data shows sleepers who use their 360 smart bed technology get almost 30 more minutes of restful sleep per night? That's 170 hours per year. So it's time for you to make the switch to Sleep Number and find out just how great a restful night of sleep can be. And if you don't do it now, you'll never have a better opportunity. Don't miss Sleep Number's weekend special during the Memorial Day sale. Save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed Queen
Now, only $1,999 plus special financing. Subject to credit approval, minimum monthly payments required. See sleepnumber.com for details. This deal ends Monday, May 23rd. You need to go to a Sleep Number store today. 2 to choose from. 1 in Irmo on Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings. The other in Columbia, 2 Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. Visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. Make the switch to Sleep Number today. Find out what a great night of sleep is truly like. Was a lot this morning. That should be work. There's another one for Tuesday, but yeah, we can cut that Monday morning or tomorrow morning.
My favorite is when you have somebody call in, he's like, that accident, Highway 1 at Watling Road. When did that happen? I said, I have no clue.
What accident was?
The accident at Highway 1 at Watling Road. He said, when did that happen? I have no clue. Why? Well, I just drove by there and I don't see anything. I said, I go by what's reported to the traffic service and by how it's told. So I have no idea.
You should have said, well, I just teleported over there. I saw it.
Exactly. I'm like, dude, well, I mean, there was nothing. I said, well, then I guess they made a mistake. He said, well, you know when that was supposed to happen? I said, I know.
Actually, it's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. It's a good thing you got through.
Yeah, right.
You idiot. Yeah.
I'm very telepathic.
Yeah.
That's actually what you should have said.
I really should have. I just kind of like, I've got other things to worry about. I won't mention it again.
Yeah,
good. Yeah, all right, there we go. Cut commercials. Having a good time this morning. Very busy. Make sure nothing's happening in the Twitter world. Oh, South Carolina qualified for the we need to mention this. Oh, wait. Evan Lewis. Did South Carolina men's golf qualify for the national championships or just Evan Lewis?
November 4th, 1993 in Athens, Georgia, 85,000 fans and a regional TV audience viewed quite a thriller between the hedges as Sparky Woods Gamecocks challenged the 14th-ranked Bulldogs. With Carolina trailing 21-17 and just 25 seconds remaining and no timeouts, this transpired. Here is the voice, Bob Fulton, along with his sidekick, Tommy Suggs.
1.5-yard line, double tight end for Carolina. And here's the get to Bennett. It's over, but he's not in the end zone. He's right at the goal line with 21 seconds remaining. 21 seconds remaining. And the players are slow getting up. 15 seconds, 14. They're trying to hurry the players up. 10 seconds, 9 seconds. They line up in the power eye again. 5 seconds. Give the ball to Bennett. He goes. Bennett dives over the top. Touchdown. Carolina will draw 15-yard penalty. Who cares? Celebrating. I know there's only 2 seconds remaining in the ball.
Final score, Gamecocks 23, Bulldogs 21. That's our old-timey clip of the day, sponsored by Old Timey Meat Market with 3 locations Lexington, South Congaree, and St. Andrews Road in Irmo.
Broadcasting live from the...
We said we were going to let y'all listen to that. That's why Patrick cut it on. Good job, Patrick.
Today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The early game
With Bill Gunter, Patrick Perez, and Jen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Thursday morning episode, about 40 minutes away from tea time out in Southern Hills Country Club out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. PGA Championship will be off and running. We will have coverage for you throughout the day right here on 107.5 The Game. And apparently Heath Klein will be there in person offering tips to whoever's coming down the stretch run there. Should be pretty interesting to see what Heath will offer there. Maybe he'll go out, just knock somebody out and become the caddy.
Who's he pulling for? Patrick Reed.
It does seem like that seems like a Heath Klein.
Captain America.
Captain America. Yeah, that's pretty much would be a Heath Klein thing. If you want to weigh in this morning, 803-404-6100, how you can be a part of the program. The South Carolina news from yesterday, they hire Freddie Kitchens as a senior. It's listed as senior analyst. He's obviously going to be on the offensive side of the ball. And Patrick, I think this is really, again, we wouldn't normally mention something like this. You just kind of like let it go, and you might mention it very kind of in passing. But hiring a former NFL head football coach, a guy who's been around the SEC a lot, like this isn't your typical, all right, guy who's trying to break into the business and work his way up. This is something that, and this is going to come out wrong, and people are going to say Gunner compared Beamer to Nick Saban. But this is a Nick Saban-esque kind of move in bringing in established guys who are pretty well thought of to come in and just kind of be around your program and offer advice to other people. And your take on what Freddie Kitchens, let's just go Freddie Kitchens' offensive mind, what you've seen with him during his time, with the Browns, with the Giants. Maybe you're not a fan, but what do you think?
Yeah, not much. I don't know. It was his career seemed to be on. It was steady and then just had an incredibly large trajectory, a crazy trajectory all at once, and it's been only downhill from there. So he was, I think, the tight ends coach or something like that. Maybe he was the quarterbacks coach originally for the Browns. No, running backs coach I'm looking at right now. So he was the running backs coach when Hugh Jackson was the head coach. Todd Haley was the OC. They both got fired. Hugh Jackson, Todd Haley both got fired. So Greg Williams was promoted to interim head coach. Freddie Kitchens was promoted to interim offensive coordinator. That was when Baker ended up playing, and they finished the season really strong, and everyone was like, okay, here come the Browns. And they didn't want to rock the boat too much and rattle Baker's confidence and give him a new coach in year two. They wanted to keep him comfortable, so they kept Freddie Kitchens around. Turned out he was absolutely incapable of being a head coach. I don't think he has the temperament or personality for it. But maybe he has a good offensive mind. It's actually hard to tell at this point because right after that, he was fired after 1 year and moves to the Giants to coach tight ends. And I mean, they had Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram can't catch, and the Giants were terrible. The Giants have been one of the worst teams in the NFL over the past decade. So it was really hard for him to stand out. And I think he was working with Jason Garrett. And I thought you mentioned that he was on a staff with, I guess, Shane Beamer in Mississippi State. So Joe Judge was on that staff then. But
Jody Wright was too.
That's what Jody Wright was on the staff last year. They coached together in New York, right?
That's true. Yeah.
That's what I thought the link was. I thought he had some relationship because he was the tight ends coach, and now Jody Wright's the tight ends coach for South Carolina. So I guess I was thinking, oh, maybe they had some mutual like love for the tight end position and just hit it off as like Southern guys in New York City. And Jody Wright texted and was like, hey, if you're not doing anything, why don't you just come coach at South Carolina? So I thought just reading that Jody Wright would have been the link and not Shane Beamer, but it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have an NFL coach on your staff. Now I'm curious, is this going to go, I feel like this could go one of two directions. Freddie Kitchens is here to rehabilitate and lay low and not have to do too much and just be around football, but not live and breathe football every day like he did in the NFL. Or he's just waiting for Marcus Satterfield to get fired and then become the offensive coordinator.
Well,
if the offense is bad, people are going to say, just get rid of this guy. Let's do the Sarkisian thing, and Lane Kiffin can get out of here, and then we'll just promote our analyst to offense coordinator.
It will be interesting. I think Satterfield's background there, and this is something that South Carolina and Shane Beamer, Marcus Satterfield are selling, is more of an NFL-style offense. That was one of the things Spencer Rattler was talking about. Hey, I'm going to be under center more. That was very appealing to me as I try and prepare myself for the NFL. And this is what I think makes it interesting is Freddie Kitchens, I would guess, being in the NFL, probably has zero interest in being. He's 47. He's a young guy.
Yeah.
Okay, they're not hiring some guy in their 60s and that with no energy that just wants to come sit in the office and not really help out. Maybe watch some film, show up for about 5 hours a day, give you a sheet of paper with his thoughts on it, and then wander out. Freddie Kitchens wants to be involved, but there is an element to recruiting that a lot of coaches don't want to get involved in. The travel, the time spent. I was talking to a coach the other night who mentioned that he was up until like 1 a.m. just texting recruits, having conversations. There's a lot of money involved in being a college football coach. There's a lot of work involved in it. And Kitchens might be to the point where he's like, I can sit here. I can just get involved in the nuances of football, the X's and O's. I can work with the players. I don't have to go and recruit. They want to bring a recruit to me on campus. I can help, but I don't have to get out. I don't have to text anybody. I can just hang out and relax. I'm sure he's made more than enough money to be comfortable in Columbia, South Carolina for a year or 2 or 3. Yeah. I hear there's a house available in Lake Murray that might be for rent. But the bottom line is I see this as a positive, and I wonder how it affects Marcus Satterfield, because Satterfield seems now to be out of the crosshairs of South Carolina fans. December 4th, that was not the case. But everybody's kind of okay with Satterfield. Look, one thing you got to say about Marcus Satterfield is he's rebuilt that quarterback room. Like, he's a part of landing Spencer Rattler. He's a part of landing Braden Davis and Tanner Bailey and possibly Dylan Longren. Satterfield appears to have an ability to connect.
And he left a great taste in everybody's mouth with the bowl game.
That's true. So now how can Freddie Kitchens help him or advise him, and they work together to formulate a game plan week after week after week that gives the South Carolina offense the ability to be competitive and go out and put points on the board.
Yeah, I think he's just going to be I just think Freddie Kitchens is going to be a good guy to have doing scout for the next week and just certain things, because it's not like he's known as a QB guru or anything like that. He's been a running backs coach. He's been a tight ends coach. He's been a quarterbacks coach. He's been an offensive coordinator. He's been a head coach. So he just knows offensive football, and he's not some sort of QB guru. It's not like you can just point to this and say he's here to work with Spencer Rattler. That's not really the case. He's just overall another voice to bounce ideas off of. And I do think when you go from head coach and you're ousted after 1 year, goes terribly, you go to New York City, a guy from Alabama go to New York City, dealing with all that crap, that media hullabaloo, chaos. It's probably everything that he hates, New York City and the media. He probably is just so content to say, look, I'm going to be around the game in a casual way in the SEC, a conference I'm familiar with, in a place that I'm going to be comfortable and happy. And I'm just gonna watch film and break down film and draw things up on the board like the good old days, and I don't have to worry about anything else. It probably is going to be a very nice change of pace for him.
803-404-6100. That's how you can be a part of the program this morning. If you want to weigh in, you can join us as always on our live stream. Several of you being a part there. RL saying, I love this move. Freddie has connections in the NFL and will likely be back in the NFL in just a few years. I think that is good for our program. So a couple people weighing in there. You can do the same if you want to join us on the text line, 803-404-6100. Darby weighing in. I think Heath Klein is a Miguel Angel Jimenez type guy. That would stand to make sense as well. We'll see. Who knows? That does sound like just smoking heaters. Is he's the one that smokes heaters on the golf course?
He does, but would he be a daily guy? I don't know if he's a daily guy.
It doesn't seem like it. Plus, if he's going on Sunday, he's probably going to miss daily. 803-404-6100. We'll get back into the Nick Saban versus Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher discussion. Let you listen to some audio from Nick Saban last night as he decided just to take a torch to Jimbo Fisher in the A&M program. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
107.5 The Game, streaming 24/7.
1 billion of us own a smartphone, and we know how addicting it can be.
Just go to iTunes or the Google Play Store and download our app.
So you never miss any of your favorite shows.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5
The Game.
This weekend, big golf tournament that you might be having a watch party for. Next weekend, Memorial Day, you might be having people over to celebrate a little bit, do a cookout, and whatever you're doing, you want to make sure that your house looks clean, looks beautiful, it's ready to host. And with Zero Res, that is exactly what you're going to get. Call Zero Res today. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned for only $119 when you mention me, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game. You'll get a hallway cleaned for free. You can give them a phone call, 803-262-4020. You can book with ease online at ZeroResColumbia.com. The ZR water technology, scientifically proven to clean better than detergents. It's something that Zero Res offers that nobody else does. And I'm telling you what, you will be thrilled with the job it'll do on your carpets, your rugs, your tile, your upholstery. It'll keep everything looking beautiful for these parties that you got coming up, maybe graduation party that you got just around the corner, and you want to have the house looking pretty. Aunt Edna's coming by. You want to make sure that she's impressed with what you've done with the house. So call Zero Res today, 803-262-4020. Again, 3 rooms of carpet clean for $119. And when you mention me, Bill Gunner, all you got to do is remember my name, Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game. You'll get a hallway cleaned for free. 803-262-4020, or again, book online with ease, ZeroResColumbia.com. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. ShepherdsGlass.com.
We have a report of a disabled vehicle, I-77 southbound at Bluff Road. Could be slowing things down just a little bit. Also, Fairfield Road, just north of I-20, working that earlier accident. Weather-wise, hot and humid next couple days. 97 today, 98 tomorrow, 93 for Saturday. Right now, though, 71 at 107.5 The Game.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we've seen how terrible accidents turn lives upside down, and we're proud to be the lawyers our clients depend on during their toughest moments. I'm Jason Reynolds. Call me when your family is faced with any serious injury or death.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When you're hurt at work, I go to work, getting you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on. We have the experience and passion you need when you need it most.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 779-4000.
Patrick, what do you think about that? Sarkisian going to L.A. to talk ball with McVay?
Yeah, it's going to be a high-level football discussion. Those are 2 geniuses. Sark is a football genius. I think that gets glossed over sometimes because of his off-the-field decision.
They both seem like cool guys to hang out with.
Yeah. I watched a coach's clinic with Steve Sarkisian, and yeah, he is very, very smart.
This Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial is still going on.
Oh yeah, they took a week off last week, I think.
Oh, well, then everybody needed a vacation. I totally understand with that. I mean,
How old is Andy North?
Evans Lewis. He looks like I wonder how old he is.
Who?
The kid who qualified to go to the the individual national
Carolina-
championships for golf.
The Carolina golfer.
Because he looks really old.
He looks really old?
The picture, or at least the picture that they used of him on Twitter.
What's the Twitter page? Carolina USC Golf or something?
Yeah,
Golf?
He's a redshirt senior. That makes sense. So yeah, he's actually probably like 26.
Guy's got 2 last names.
Yeah, that also caught me off a little.
Like the opposite of Ricky Bobby. Evans Lewis.
Yes, he is.
It's a
Craig.
cool belt buckle he's got in that.
I saw that. Yes, he is, Craig. Sark is definitely a bourbon genius.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, we haven't. Thankfully, we haven't talked a whole lot of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, yesterday was weird. I don't know what exactly he was doing, but there was a quote that he admitted that a girl cried after his massage was over with.
$7:38 on a Thursday morning. Bill Gunner, Patrick Perrette. Coming up in about 20 minutes, we'll be joined by John Whittle of thebigspur.com. We'll talk a little bit about the golf tournament this coming Monday. I'll be out there broadcasting live 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., hanging out with my good friends, Rock and Daniel Lucas, and all of the people who want to sign up for the Fairways for Fish Big Spur Golf Tournament. It is on Monday. You still time to register. $75 per person, $250 for a foursome. You can go and sign up at thebigspur.com. They will have a barbecue and chicken lunch with all the fixins. They've got a ton of great raffle prizes, so you can go and check that out, and it's going to a great cause. The Ryan Fisher Baseball Manager Scholarship Fund is what this will be going to. Again, $75 per person, $250 for a foursome, and it's quite affordable. It'll be out at Charwood Golf Course. Rock and Daniel Lucas, I imagine they're out there right now on the fairway, getting the fairways cut, getting the tees set for today. You can go out there and play around today as well, and then head on back and watch some PGA Championship later. But John Whittle coming up in about 20 minutes, and then in about an hour from now, Kerry Tharp will join us as he does each and every Thursday to take a look at the upcoming NASCAR race this coming weekend. This weekend, the Texas All-Star Open out in Austin, Texas, actually. You going to be there for that?
Fort Worth, Texas, I thought.
Jen's sheet that she hands me each and every week says Austin, Texas. Or at least the one that she gave me. Now, Jen's not above
Texas,
making me look like a moron.
Texas Motor Speedway, right?
The sheet that I say just says,
yeah,
Fort
Worth.
Gotcha. Okay, I read straight from the teleprompter, just like all good
like all
announcers
NASCAR
do.
experts.
Just like all NASCAR experts, I read
who find out where the race is taking place at 7:40.
I read exactly what Jen
Thursday
puts
before
down
the
for
race.
me. Whatever she's going to put is what I'm going to read. 803-404-6100. We'll get back into that Nick Saban discussion from what occurred last night. Nick Saban, and the big picture here is what Nick Saban is saying is not wrong, Patrick. That's kind of the thing about it. Nick Saban's right. Name, image, likeness. Yeah, I'm gonna hate it, but I'm gonna watch. I'll watch College Game Day the first time it comes on. I'll watch Week 0 when we force, I think it's Ireland, to a Nebraska-Illinois game. I've got to look and see what we're doing to another country again to start college football season.
We were going to give them Notre Dame.
Northwestern Nebraska this year is
But we were going to give them Notre Dame.
Originally, yes. And then COVID hit and we decided not to do that. And so again, last year it was supposed to be Illinois, Nebraska. They ended up moving that one back to, I think, Champaign, Illinois. And this year, apparently our efforts to make Dublin, Ireland watch Nebraska, we are going to make them do that because Northwestern and Ryan Holinsky will travel over to Nebraska, to Dublin this year for the August 27th Week 0 game. So I'll continue to watch football. But what Nick Saban said yesterday, and we'll let you listen to the audio coming up here before the top of the hour, but what Nick Saban had to say yesterday as it pertains to name, image, likeness, he's not wrong. It's just crazy in this day and age to hear a coach basically point a finger at one school and say, oh, they bought every one of their players. The exact quote is, I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, likeness. We didn't buy one player, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it. It's tough. I have a hard time believing Alabama didn't. Look, again, when he says they didn't buy anybody, technically, I don't think Texas A&M bought anybody. They promised them a name, image, likeness deal when they got on campus. That's how it works.
He also, part of this quote that I read was that he was like, yeah, we have however many players that made $3 million in NIL, and they did it the right way.
Yeah.
What's the right way? Be good before you get paid and not – is that the right way?
Doing it in Tuscaloosa, of course.
I mean, that really almost is the right – you could spin it that the right way is performing on the field before you get paid. Like not getting paid just because you're a highly touted recruit.
That is true. I mean,
there's a case to be made for that.
There is a case. We'll continue talking about that. We'll let you listen to that Nick Saban audio. It's Bill Gunner. It's Patrick Perret. It's Jen Jensen. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game. Yeah. That's why he got fired from Southern Cal, was apparently enjoying the nightlife a little bit too much. RL. He was a fan of the nightlife. All right, so who's everybody's best bets for Southern Hills? I'll put up, let's see here. I think this should scroll at the bottom. There's the most recent Vegas odds. Scheffler, Rahm, McIlroy, Thomas, Spieth, Morikawa. I might have put a little bit of money down on Spieth, but I got Spieth at plus 1950. So I took a little chance on that, a couple dollars. Oh, Billy.
We are not now. There's got to be a better way to do this.
Just to mute, just to do this. I that's That's probably going to be the way, just to preserve it. Dustin and Tiger. That's Hope's pick. She says she's pulling for Dustin and Tiger. He was sending that to Jerry. No, but there's your odds. Yeah, Tiger's obviously ridiculous odds. Hovland or Thomas? I'm trying to think. I actually think Scotty Scheffler will win, and it'll be another boring tournament. About 13 minutes away from tea time over in Southern Hills, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at Southern Hills Country Club. Asking on the live stream, who are you taking? Current Vegas Insider odds, I'm going off of VegasInsider.com is where I'm using these. Has Scotty Scheffler as the favorite, plus 1,000 there. John Rahm plus 1,200. Roy McIlroy plus 1,200. Justin Thomas. Patrick, I don't know how to quantify Justin Thomas because I feel like we should be getting more bang for our buck with Justin Thomas. It feels like he's always a popular pick, and yet he's only got one major.
He's always in contention, though, isn't he?
He's around it, but it feels like he has one of those great round. I'm trying. Who was it who had the great round at the Masters at the end and kind of
Roy?
Was it Roy? Yeah,
Roy
it was. Roy had a great,
the second best round in the history of
a great round, but he wasn't really in contention, and that's what it feels. And to me, that's what it feels like with Justin Thomas. Is that he'll have a great round and he'll kind of be there, but at the same time, he's not really in contention for it. It's Justin Thomas is an interesting. He does have he's got 14 PGA Tour wins. The last time that he finished in the top 5 for a major was the 2020 Masters, where he finished 4th. It's been a while since he's really, really kind of been in contention. And again, he'll probably throw out a great round at some point this weekend, but will it be enough? You can go and join us on our live stream. Couple people weighing in. Craig said Victor Hovland or Justin Thomas. Hope saying she was pulling for Dustin Johnson or Tiger Woods. RL was asking, we were talking on the live stream about Steve Sarkisian. You're actually interested in this. Sarkisian is going out to Los Angeles to talk football with Sean McVay.
I just like football geniuses going to just talk ball and just learn from each other. Like, I like when that story came out about Peyton and Brady finally becoming friends one off season and going and bringing film to each other and hanging out and just talking shop,
chatting it up.
Like, I would like to watch that conversation happen, but I just know that I wouldn't understand any of it.
Sarkisian going back to LA could be interesting. Hopefully he's got it under control. The reason he was kind of dismissed from Southern Cal was enjoying the nightlife a little bit too much out there, and hopefully he'll be good.
He's in Austin, Texas now. No
nightlife. Yeah, that's what they say about it. You'll tell us more about it when you come back. This is Patrick's last show before a very nice what is that, about a 10-day vacation you're going on?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be back here for almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'll be the Tuesday after Memorial Day before we will see Patrick again. So if you want to wish him well on his vacation, you can do so at his Twitter account @_Patrick Perrette. You can hop on our live stream this morning. Jim weighing in. He's going with Victor Hovland as well. Oklahoma State grad, Victor Hovland is. I say that out loud, and then now I always say things, and then I make myself question. I was like, do I really know that? Or
It's
but
him
I'm pretty.
and Matthew Wolf, right? Both Victor Oklahoma State guys. Is that right?
I believe so. Yeah, Hovland again is a guy that's looking for his first major from Oklahoma State University, so not too far down the road there. And is a guy, he'll tee off at 9 a.m. this morning out at Southern Hills Country Club out in Tulsa. So we'll keep an eye on that in the next hour. Coming up in about 10 minutes, we will catch up with John Whittle of thebigspur.com. South Carolina does open this series tonight against Florida. We've not really talked about it, but Patrick, the reason we haven't really talked about it is a sweep, getting swept. They do need to win one game. They do need to win one game. And we'll confirm that with John Whittle. I think he put that out earlier this week, and that should still be the case. I don't think anything's changed. They need to win one game to get into the SEC tournament. But at this point, it doesn't matter if they sweep. It doesn't matter if they get swept. There will be no postseason baseball in terms of the NCAA for South Carolina here in 2022. And that's going to really raise questions as we get to the end of next week. You won't really be around. Probably by the time you come back, that Tuesday, they will have announced the NCAA tournament fields, and we'll know where everybody's expected to go. And then when you come back into town, you might be walking back into the firestorm that is, does Mark Kingston get another year, or has the administration seen enough? I feel like I know where the fans sit.
Oh, we know where the fans sit.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll be walking into a South Carolina team that's just won the SEC tournament.
That would be the way they go to the NCAA tournament.
Crazier things have happened, right?
They just, well, not many. I guess Rich Strike coming back to win the Derby 2 weeks ago out of nowhere.
Now he's not going to race.
So, but with that being said,
I think it's she.
Okay, could be.
I don't know.
Yeah, we are the Kentucky Derby, the horse racing experts on this program. But no, you look at South Carolina baseball this weekend. Will you take anything away from what they do this weekend going to the SEC tournament? Like if they sweep, are you like, oh, okay, now they got momentum? Is there anything you take, or are we now checked out on South Carolina baseball? Is this it?
I think we're checked out. I mean, there's no way that they're going to win the SEC tournament. I feel pretty comfortable saying that and not getting like old takes exposed. They're probably going to lose the first game. They're bad outside of Founders Park.
It depends. The only reason I'd say they won't lose the first game is, and I don't know how they're going to do it. Mark Kingston
saving Will Sanders.
If Will Sanders is able to pitch, but I don't. It depends on how quickly you're trying to bring him back from whenever you pitch him. If you throw him tonight, or if you wait till Saturday or Sunday,
and you need your one victory, you can just throw him for the first couple innings. Use him
try
as
and
a
get
closer.
But then you're relying on your bullpen, and we've seen the bullpen. Matthew Becker pitched a solid game, solid enough. He didn't give up a run through 4 innings the other night. Then they go to the bullpen, and there's 8 runs given up. Like it's one of those things where I'm with you. I don't know where people stand. I don't know what the interest will be for this coming weekend. Ross on our live stream, 0 pitching depth, will struggle mightily in Hoover. Well, they might not even get out of the first game. Might not, pitching depth might not even matter. It's going to be interesting. I'm kind of fascinated to see where fans stand when the next 2 weeks really comes to a close here. I think I'm with you, Patrick. I think most fans are ready to move on and see the start of a new era for South Carolina baseball, but we'll see if Ray Tanner and the administration feel that way. 803-404-6100. That's how you can be a part of the program this morning. We've talked a lot about the situation with Nick Saban calling out Texas A&M yesterday in a business leaders meeting, a local business leaders meeting in Birmingham, Alabama. Jen, before we hit the break, let's hear a little bit of that audio. Nick Saban yesterday speaking to local business leaders and talking about NIL and how it pertains to Texas A&M.
You should make a decision based on where you have the best chance to develop as a person, as a student, and as a player, which is what we've always tried to major in. And we're going to continue to do that. And hopefully there's enough people out there that want to do it. But I know the consequence is going to be difficult for the people who are spending tons of money to get players. And you've read about them. You know who they are. I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team. made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it.
A&M bought every player. Alabama didn't buy any players, Patrick.
Every dollar that their players made, they earned.
They earned.
They did it the right way.
They earned. They did it the right way. Would any other coach, would we be like, that guy's a hypocrite? Like, because don't you look at Alabama just a little bit and like, oh, come on, buddy. Come on, buddy.
What are you going to say about the greatest coach in the history of the sport?
We'll continue talking about it. Name, image, likeness, buying players. It's all part of college football. I hate it. I'm disgusted. And yet
you're gonna watch.
I am watching, ordering food. I'm gonna enjoy every second of a game. Hour 3 is up next. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game. Final hour of the Thursday program. Final hour for Patrick Perrette, who is – are you in vacation mode yet, or when do you officially enter vacation mode?
Like 4 a.m.
You're not mentally checked out yet?
No, I still got to work tonight. I'll get a breakfast sandwich at 4 a.m. and hit the 6.5-hour journey to Nashville. Then I'll be in vacation mode.
Okay. All right. So good to see that you're still fully engaged in our program this morning. If you want to engage with us, 803-404-6100, how you can be a part of the program. You can join us via the Love Chevy phone lines or via the text line. And as always, you can go and join us via the via the live stream. A couple of you weighing in on South Carolina baseball. Hope saying Carolina baseball will end. Braves are terrible. Braves blew a lead yesterday, by the way. Did you see that? They were up 4-0 on the Brewers and did not go well for the Braves. So Hope saying no exciting sports until September 3rd. That's not true, Hope. We got the end of the Premier League, which I'm getting heavily involved in.
Yeah, it looked like Man City had it in the bag, but it's actually going to come down to the final weekend.
You know what? I like Jurgen Klopp and what's the other coach?
Pep Guardiola.
I like those two guys, man.
Yeah.
They look rough. They look like they came straight out of the pub,
people
threw on their hat, and are ready to coach, buddy.
People are coming after Pep because he can't do anything in the Champions League without Messi. Also, did you see the story about Messi over
No,
the
I
weekend?
didn't. Oh, he's coming to Inter Miami.
He poo-pooed that. Apparently, that's not going to happen.
Let's get out to the Love Chevy phone lines. A man who is covering Lionel Messi to Inter Miami with like no other. He's actually down in Florida right now. John Whittle, are you already down in Florida? You're not down in Florida yet, are you?
No, I'm not down in Florida.
Okay.
I'll leave here in a couple hours, get down there.
Okay. Well, all right. So it's tough to cover whether Messi's going to Miami 2023. What do you think?
I hope so. I would love to see him down there and give the MLS a little boost. I'm not really an MLS guy, but why not? Let's have something to watch in the summers.
He's still way too good to come to the MLS.
He would be 30.
I would agree with that. I would certainly agree with that. That doesn't mean I can't be hopeful,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, I would absolutely love it. If they came to Charlotte, I would drive up to Charlotte to go see that game in a heartbeat. It would sell out.
He will be technically when he gets to that age when he'd be 36.
Yeah. He scores like every game for PSG.
He might still be too good, but that he'd be 36 by the time. Which is, I was trying to explain to Austin, my son. I was like, this is what happens. All the Euro players that have been way too good when they get late 30s, they come on over and Whittle. I played soccer. I physically played soccer, not like went on the pitch and kicked it around last night with the 9 and 10-year-olds. Like we scrimmaged. Most running I've done in 7 years, I believe. Most running, hands down. And turns out playing soccer, even against 9 and 10-year-olds for a 40-year-old, it's difficult, man. I'm hurting this morning.
I feel like y'all can make a TikTok video out of that and put that on the new page.
We might have to do a TikTok video this morning. Patrick's final show before a big vacation. He will not be there, but I will. Next Monday should be a blast, buddy. I'm looking forward to it. I get to join you guys. The Fairways for Fish Big Spur Golf Tournament. It will be raising money for the Ryan Fisher Baseball Manager Scholarship Fund. 7:30 a.m. registration time. We will be there. I'll be there hanging out with you, broadcasting. We've got a great list of guests that are set up. Talk about some of those people that are planning to come and play and hang out with us.
Yeah. Well, while we're talking soccer, Tony Annan is bringing the bulk of his staff out there to come play. We've got a couple folks over there from South Carolina football. We've got a few folks out there, so it should be a good time. There's enough room for one or two foursomes left. We're filling up pretty good. We were capping it at about 100 folks, so yeah, we're certainly getting there. We're getting close.
And talk a little bit, we will discuss more in depth on Monday morning when I get you to hop on with me or whomever you like. But the Ryan Fisher Baseball Scholarship, the Manager Baseball Scholarship Foundation that is being put together. Talk about this and this great kind of fund that is being done to honor Ryan Fisher and what he was able to do for the University of South Carolina.
Yeah, Ryan started out. Ryan started out at South Carolina as a student, and joined the baseball program as a manager. Was over there with Michael Roth and some of those great teams. Those championship teams. That's how he started out, and he became a full-time employee over there. Worked with football for a little while under Steve Spurrier, and then for a short time with Will Muschamp, and then came back over to baseball to run the equipment operations over there and manage the managers, so to speak, where he started his run with the University of South Carolina. So it was obviously something that was very important to him over there, and they've got scholarships over there for those guys, and that scholarship fund is now set up in his name. So we're raising a few bucks to go out there, and we're gonna have a good old time out there playing some golf. We got obviously a great day on the course. We got a 120-pound pig that's gonna start smoking on Sunday afternoon to have ready to go on Monday. Have some great pulled pork, have some chicken, all the fixings. We got some great raffle prizes over there. Just got some cleats from Will Crow in the mail yesterday that are autographed. So some game worn cleats from him. So that's just one of the cool things. Picked up some gear from Tony Annan yesterday. Autographed bats from Jackie Bradley and Christian Walker and Grayson Griner. So we got a lot going on Monday.
I look forward to catching up with Coach Annan. I'm actually wearing the hat he brought us, the South Carolina, the new hat,
new crest.
New crest. Thank you. Yeah. The new hat that they've just created from Under Armour.
I packed mine.
Did you?
Yeah, that's what
good. Take it to Texas.
That's the only hat I'm bringing.
There you go.
Represent
Gamecock soccer in Texas. Whittle, you're going to go watch some Gamecock baseball in Gainesville starting tonight, and it's unfortunate. It's hard to really discuss this and put a positive spin on it, especially after what occurred on Tuesday night. Where do you think mentally this team is at as you've watched them over the last 4 or 5 weeks? Because I think Pearson said it best yesterday. I was listening to Pearson, and he said, this would happen. And we would kind of say, well, if South Carolina could just win 2 of 3 in this series, and then they'd lose, and we go, well, if they can just sweep this series, okay, that maybe they'll get in the NCAA tournament, and maybe something will go a little sideways. And we say, all right, well, if they could just do this, they win 2 of 3 against Kentucky last week, and they're kind of hanging around. You'd mentioned the RPI and stuff, but then Tuesday night happens. Mentally, where do you see this team at right now?
Well, I guess we'll see tonight. I mean, they certainly when they went down on Tuesday against Charlotte, you could tell that they were really deflated, and that was one of the first times I've really kind of seen that. When they had that heartbreaking loss to Texas A&M on Saturday, they came back full go on Sunday, ready to get after it, ready to win, and did. I guess we won't really know until they take the field tonight what their feelings are like right now. I mean, I heard Aaron Fitt yesterday talking about it on Jay's show, and he said, the South Carolina team has kept fighting and fighting and fighting regardless of the circumstances, and he's and it's true. It's 100% true. He said, and there are other teams that have given up. He said Mississippi State had a couple of injuries, and they gave up, and it's a testament to South Carolina and the players here and the coaches here that they've been fighting the entire season. And it's I agree with it, but that game on Tuesday was really difficult for those guys. I have to imagine, after they went down 8-3 in that 5th inning, bottom of the 5th, from there on out, they only had 1 hit the rest of the game. Faced a pitcher that just doesn't fit South Carolina. Really exploits their weaknesses. These right-handed sinker ballers have been getting them all year long, and that's what they brought in. And lots of ground balls, not a lot of hard hit balls, and it just was tough on them. So we'll see how they bounce back this weekend. It's certainly got to be a challenge because, as you said, we know that if South Carolina is going to make run or going to have a chance to make it to the NCAA tournament, they've basically got to win the SEC tournament. Maybe if something crazy happens, if you sweep this weekend or win 2 or 3 this weekend and make the championship game or something like that and lose, and I don't know, maybe. But for all intents and purposes, you got to win the SEC tournament, and that's too big for this team. I mean, it's with the pitching situation, what it is, that's too big for this, and they probably all know that, and so we'll see how they react this weekend.
Well, on the subject of that and the pitching situation, one of the storylines of this weekend was what are they going to do with Will Sanders? Are they going to try and save him? The way you just laid it out, I mean, you're going to have to use more than Will Sanders to win the SEC tournament. They're going to have a couple guys win games. And do you expect them to save him or just let him pitch and then just let the chips fall where they may?
I don't know, and I don't think they know. To be honest with you, I mean they've talked a little bit about being creative with what they do this weekend. They're not going to kill Will Sanders. He's got a bright future in this game, and they're not going to throw him some crazy amount of pitches or bring him back on too short of a rest period or anything like that. That's a disservice to the kid. It wouldn't surprise me if they just kept it rolling as they've been doing. But if they do change it up, it's not going to be something to where they're jeopardizing his future, because they know, like we know, that it's going to be next to impossible to make it into the NCAA tournament, and Will they're not going to do any harm to. He's back next year. He's not a draft eligible guy, and they're going to protect him too. So it wouldn't shock me to see him come out of the bullpen and in the first game or 2, and or out of the bullpen in game 3 and not start, to where he can start on Tuesday. But they're not going to do anything stupid with him either.
Before we 2 things before we let you go. One, let's finish baseball conversation. Regardless of what happens, do you expect kind of a quick announcement one way or the other as to the future of Mark Kingston? Like I just was cutting up with Patrick. He will be back on Tuesday after Memorial Day. And I think, Whittle, you can help me out. Is the field announced officially on Memorial Day, or is it that Sunday now? I feel like they moved it and caught me a little off guard. Is it Memorial Day or the Sunday?
It's Selection Monday.
Selection Monday. Okay.
Yeah.
So you go into that week there, and I'm not asking what you think will happen. I'm just asking, do you think that we will hear something from the administration one way or the other? I know, like with Frank Martin, that actually moved a little bit quicker maybe than I anticipated. I think it sounded like, at least in some of the interviews, Frank was maybe a little cut off with the timing. Do you think that Ray Tanner either gives a public vote of confidence or they make the decision? But do you think you get something relatively quick, or is this something that maybe they sit on for a week and a half, 10, 12 days to kind of see how they all feel once feelings and emotions die down?
Honestly, I don't think it's going to be incredibly quick. And part of it depends on, how quickly they're back in the SEC tournament. If they're out on Tuesday, maybe something happens right after the NCAA tournament selection stuff. But I don't think it's going to happen overly quickly, just because there's a lot to sort through with this. With Frank Martin, maybe you can speak to this too, but I've never gotten the feeling that it was more of an NCAA tournament or bust scenario in my life in a coaching decision as it was with Frank Martin. When they weren't making the NCAAs, it was time to make a change. And with this Mark Kingston situation, there's so many different elements at play that you just have to kind of sort through, and what things are going to look like for next year, and what Mark Kingston's plan is to fix this thing and get it right, and get it right immediately versus if you're Mark Kingston, you can't say that you're building back towards College World Series. Like it's got to be done quickly, and what the plan is for that to happen. But you just overhauled your coaching staff. You had these injuries this year on your pitching staff, which have caused so many problems. There's there's just so much nuance to this decision that I don't think is going to happen overly quickly. I don't think it's going to be an immediate thing. I don't think we're going to see anything like we saw Frank Martin 2 years ago. But I do think it might take a little bit more time than what folks are going to be happy with.
He's John Whittle. Make sure you go to thebigspur.com and you can register. I'll be there with him on Monday when he gets back. 7:30 a.m. registration time, 9 a.m. shotgun start. $75 per person, $250 for a foursome. It is the Fairways for Fish TBS Golf Tournament. Great event, raising money for the Ryan Fisher Baseball Manager Scholarship Fund. It'll be out at Charwood Golf Course. Our good buddy Rock and Daniel Lucas. They'll have barbecue and chicken lunch with all the fixings following the event. Again, $75 per person, $250 for a foursome. Just a few spots left. A lot of great Gamecock celebrities will be out there. And Whittle, I look forward to hanging out with you bright and early on Monday morning and talking a little golf, a little soccer, and a little baseball as well.
Hey, you can look forward to hanging out with me all you want. I'm looking forward to hanging out with Tony Annan and those guys from Gamecock Soccer. That's going to be a blast.
I can't wait. After last night's performance, I don't know. I think they might need a 40-year-old goalie. I hear 5'7" goalies are in demand. I shut down those 9 and 10-year-olds like it was nothing.
Bill's watching soccer
Wait,
all
you
day.
were a goalie. You said you were running all around. What were you?
I played all positions. I didn't know. The one thing I'm learning about soccer, that was the first competitive soccer game I've played, and competitive, we'll use that term loosely, in about 25 years. But I was very pleased with my son Austin, tried to put him in the dirt a couple times, just let him know I was there. Again, Reed Shelley, Nick's son. Nick Shelley, who had our game-winning goal. That's right, the dads whipped up on the kids. I put his son in the dirt a few times. I just tried to establish dominance because there won't be a much longer period of time that I'm taller than those kids.
well, congratulations on burying your son and a couple of others out there. That's quite big of you there, Mr. Gunther.
You take what you can get at 40 years old. You take what you can get, and last night was a good time. I had a blast.
Need something to brag to Tony Annan about.
That's right.
And then you'll talk footy with him after your weekend of Premier League viewing.
That's right. I'll be all in. Yeah, we're heading down to Savannah for.
We just want to
be
friends with him.
So yeah. We'll have. Yeah, I do want to be friends with me.
Cool.
I'm a very easy person. Give me free stuff and I'll be friends with you. John, we'll catch up with you on Monday, buddy. Safe travels to Gainesville.
Appreciate you guys.
Take care. John Whittle of thebigspur.com. Again, still time you can sign up for the Fairways for Fish TBS Golf Tournament, raising money for the Ryan Fisher Baseball Manager Scholarship Fund this coming Monday, May 23rd at Charwood Golf Course. Registration 7:30 a.m. Shotgun start 9 a.m. We'll be out there broadcasting live. We'll come back. We'll get into a few other topics. You're listening to The Early Game on 107.5 The Game. Yeah, it was a rough night. It turns out athletically, 40 years old, soccer, they don't really go together. So I was very excited to go home and crawl in my bed. There was a lot of icy hot that was used on the ankles and the knees, and I needed a great night of sleep. The good news, the MVP, Sleep Number, they were there for me. They've been there for me for years. They take care of me each and every night. I put that Sleep Number setting on 45, and it's a fantastic night of sleep each and every night. That's why I wake up perky, ready to hammer the English language each and every morning, just win victories over the English language, because With a great night of sleep, you're ready to do anything you want to do the next day. And right now with a Sleep Number bed, that's exactly what you can get. Why choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because every great day starts the night before. And it's time for Sleep Number's Memorial Day sale. Save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed Queen. Now, only $1,999 for a limited time. 2 stores to choose from. One in Irmo on Harbison Boulevard across from Buffalo Wild Wings. The other in Columbia, 2 Notch Road across from Sand Hills Mall. You can visit them on the web, sleepnumber.com. Tell you what, that Sleep Number bed, you hear me talk about a lot of different things. Sleep Number beds are absolutely phenomenal. I encourage you to get out right now to one of those stores or visit the web, sleepnumber.com, and check out the Memorial Day sale. Save $1,000 on the Sleep Number 360 Special Edition Smart Bed Queen. Now only $1,999 for a limited time. So make the switch to Sleep Number today and find out what a great night of sleep is truly like.
$1 million last year that was a really good Division I player to come to school. It was in the paper. They bragged about it. Nobody did anything about it.
Oh, you see Deion's tweet? Deion tweeted a video saying, "You know what time it is? I will be addressing the lies told by Coach David soon."
Did he call him Coach? Didn't call him Nick?
I think he said Nick Saban.
Oh, he didn't say Coach?
Let me check. He might have said Coach.
Ready? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Coming up on the Friday morning edition of the early game, we are without Patrick Perrett. We're without Patrick Perrett for like 11 straight days or something until after Memorial Day. Maybe he may never come back from Austin, Texas. And you know what that means? Hey, Jen, you and me, my arms are extended right now for a hug. Are we doing Hugging Friday? There you go. We'll pass out some hugs. We'll talk some sports. We'll see if Jen slaps me in the back of the head if she's exhausted from dealing with just me by the end of tomorrow morning's show. And Patrick, good luck in Austin, Texas.
Give him a lot of land and a cattle.
There you go. All tomorrow morning on the early game, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.5 The Game. It's pretty good.
Live off the land.
We did. Congrats to Jen. Jen figured it out. We got rid of the Jen got in there, and we are hopefully, depending on what you type, we got rid of the bot. Huh? What'd you say, Jen? We have to unmute Jen now. I can't unmute Jen.
Okay. Is that better?
That's better. You muted your. There we go. Now tell us.
I took it off. I said, as long as you don't type in any of the words that were making us uncomfortable to start with, you won't get booted. But if you do, then you'll get put in timeout. So it should be good.
Yep, she's got it taken care of. So yeah, you get muted if you type in some of the words that the bots use.
All right, how long is our next break? All right, I'll try to knock both of these out in the next break, I guess.
If you missed, I think the Tuesday show, the wheel of agony was spun. A wager was put out. Now, it's going to be a week and a half before the wager gets paid out. But the wager is I have the Miami Heat. Patrick has the Boston Celtics. Who wins the series? The loser has their fingernails painted. For Patrick, that would be Heat red. For me, that would be Celtic green. Tonight is game 2, Patrick. How are we feeling about this one?
Al Horford is doubtful. So we're feeling doubtful. But I already said, did you miss it when I said that I double or nothing the Warriors were going to win the Western Conference?
No, I missed that. I did not. That was we'll go back and get a replay of the show
What
on
is that? Getting nails done and a manicure? Or
I
what?
don't know what that would.
Or Manny Petty. Manny Petty.
He's
No,
getting
not
his
the
nail.
pedicure. I'll get the manicure and the nails.
So Jen has lined up a is it what we call it, a nail specialist? Is that right?
What?
You've got didn't
Like
you
a
say
manicurist or something like that? I'm working
you've
on
got
that.
somebody lined up to come in and
What?
take care of Patrick's hands or mine. I mean, the Heat could fall apart. I'm not above thinking that Jason Tatum doesn't like all of a sudden just take over the series. He was starting
Well,
to
it's
do
going to be ridiculous when I lose this because Al Horford tested positive for COVID in spring of 2022.
These things happen. Jen had to go do a TikTok challenge.
When I talked about the depth of the Celtics, I wasn't anticipating one of their best players missing the first 2 games.
It's true. That did hurt.
And Marcus Smart's still hurt too. He's probable, but
see, probable and doubtful, that's better than not playing right now as we sit here at 8:28. That's good. Doubtful and probable. I feel like that's an upgrade. Quite honestly, I don't understand if Horford is doubtful or what did you list him as? Is he doubtful? How's he doubtful? We either know or we don't know that he's in. So when we think Patrick's going to come back, this actually could dictate whether Patrick comes back or not. You might actually have to call in next week and just let us know how the vacation's going.
I might just do all of the shows remote now with a green screen so you don't know where I am.
So tonight you've got NBA playoffs on the line. You've got the Heat and the Celtics. That's been it should actually be pretty good. 8:30 tonight on ESPN is where you can catch that. Also tonight, the NHL back in action. Last night, great win for the Carolina Hurricanes. They rally late and win in overtime. They got the tying goal with about 3 minutes to go. They win 2-1. Calgary knocked off Edmonton 9-6 in the second game. Tonight, 7:00, Tampa Bay is up 1-0 on the Florida Panthers. They'll play at 7 on TNT. That'll be followed by, right now, you would say the favorite, Colorado, to win the Stanley Cup.
Favorites.
The betting favorites. So St. Louis and Colorado tonight is your other game. So playoff games tonight, Heat, Celtics in the NBA, and then in the NHL, Tampa Bay and Florida, St. Louis and Colorado. We'll continue talking about that. Get you a little update on the PGA Championship. They have teed off in Tulsa, Oklahoma at Southern Hills Country Club. It's the early game on 107.5 The Game. Told all the dads last night after soccer that QC Kinetics will feature very prominently in my life for the next few days as I try and recover from soccer last night. But I had a good time, had a blast. But yep, QC Kinetics right there. They have taken care of me with any joint pain, with ligament or tissue issues, and they'll do the same for you. That's the great thing. So don't go through another summer with awful joint pain. Call QC Kinetics today, 803-281-6860. Get a free consultation. If you've been experiencing issues with your back or your shoulders, with your ankles, even with your fingers, anywhere you've got joints, you need to call QC Kinetics today and get powerful, effective joint pain treatments using natural Biologics. 803-281-6860. You can call QC Kinetics today. You can get a free consultation. You can talk about these lasting joint pain relief methods that involve no drugs, no steroids, no downtime, and most importantly, no surgery. So don't wait any longer. If you're experiencing pain in your knees, in your elbows, and your wrists, call QC Kinetics. Get back to living the life you deserve to live. 803-281-6860. Again, that's 803-281-6860. Get back to living your life the way you want to. Call QC Kinetics today for a free consultation. 803-281-6860.
Oh, lottery picks yesterday. Yeah. No, hair braid. I don't think either of us have. I definitely don't have it for hair braids. I definitely don't have it. Yep, nail tech. That was probably what we were going for. No, we'll keep Clemson, and no, that's Troy. Just I think has been running late, so we are doing quite well. Everybody's doing well this morning. One more segment, and then Carrie Tharp and Patrick is off to vacation. You ready? Patrick's got to cut some stuff.
tee off this morning. Again, Tony Finau, Hideki Matsuyama, and Alexander Schauffele, really the first big group to go out here in about 5 minutes. Max Homa.
Surprised no one's commented on you saying Xander.
Is it Xander?
Xander. I think it's always Xander.
Is it not X? I don't know. The X always emphasize the X on that, but Xander Schauffele.
Maybe his is like more. Maybe he's very I don't know, fancy, and he says the Xander, but I think it's Xander.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, they go off here in just a short while.
And you're picking Spieth, right?
I went Spieth. Yeah, I went Spieth. We'll see if he's able to hold up. It does feel like it's a tournament. He's familiar with that course. He talked a little bit about it. He played there in an amateur and lost in a playoff. And he said the course has changed since he did that. He did get up there with Justin Thomas, I think about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, before the Byron Nelson, and played around there. So there is some familiarity there for him with the course. How much more is it than anybody else? Hard to say. But again, I did take Jordan Spieth, and we'll see. He tees off. What time did he tee off? I think he teed off at 9:30. He tees off at 9:37 this morning, I believe, is when he goes out, and we'll see how he is able to perform. 9:11. I'm sorry, 9:11, not 9:37. 9:11 for him, and he goes out in a pretty strong group there with Tiger Woods and Roy McIlroy, and I believe you can watch that via the ESPN app and see how they're doing. So we'll keep you updated on that. We got to get to some NASCAR coming up in the next segment. The boys head out to the NASCAR All-Star Open. They are out in Fort Worth, Texas. We got to make some picks on this here. We got a lot to go. We got the All-Star Open. We got the All-Star Race. We got a lot to choose from this morning. I have closed the gap just a little on Reggie Anderson. I'm at 39 points. Jen's at 32. Carrie is at 29, and Reggie Anderson still on the lead at 48. We'll make some picks when we come back. You're listening to the early game on 107.5 The Game.
Here's what's coming up
on the next Extra Point.
Hey guys, Pearson Fowler here from the Extra Point, and coming up on the Wednesday edition of the Extra Point, plenty of South Carolina baseball. What happened last night? The Gamecocks hosting Charlotte in the final midweek game. A lot on the line for South Carolina. Did they stay alive? Was it the end of the road? Either way, we will look ahead to the Gamecocks' final SEC series against Florida. Talk about the NBA playoffs, the Celtics and the Heat game 1 last night. Who's got the upper hand in that one? A couple of very interesting conference finals matchups ahead of us, plus plenty more college football. A visit with Wes Mitchell to talk recruiting for South Carolina and college football in general. All that and a whole lot more coming up on the Extra Point.
The Extra Point
With Pearson, Preston, and Gamecock Central.
9 a.m. to noon
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
We are officially into graduation season, whether it's from college, whether it is from high school. And one of the best presents you can give that graduate is a certified pre-owned car, maybe a new car if you want to go down that path. But whatever it is, certified pre-owned or new, Love Chevrolet has got you taken care of. With the $1,000 low price guarantee, with the largest selection of vehicles anywhere in the Midlands, 14 acres to be exact, and that incredible sales staff, Love Chevrolet is here to make sure you find the car or truck you've been looking for. And again, they have a lot of stuff going for them. They've got the $1,000 low price guarantee. Means you can go shop other dealerships, take their deal back to the folks at Love Chevrolet, and they'll top it, or else they'll write you a check for $1,000. 14 acres of brand new Chevys. That is pretty impressive, given right now the time of high demand and low supply, that you can get out there and find that. But most importantly, it's the way that Love Chevrolet treats their customers that makes them stand out above others. They don't add extra add-ons to the current sticker price, taking advantage of consumers in this time of high demand and low supply. And they also are experienced and knowledgeable. They know what you're looking for. They're not going to harass you. They're going to make you feel comfortable. Purchasing a car in this day and age, it's an expensive purchase. It's going to cost you money for years to come. You want to feel comfortable with what you're buying, and the folks that Love Chevrolet, that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to make you feel comfortable. They're going to make you feel like you made a great decision, and you'll be happy yourself. So go visit Love Chevrolet and visit that trusted sales staff that is nice, they're courteous, and again, extremely knowledgeable. I-26 in Harbison, between Lowe's and Frankie's Fun Park, or on the web, lovechevy.com. Get out to Love Chevrolet and find new roads.
107.5 The Game traffic from the Shepherd's Glass Traffic Center.
Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality. shepherdsglass.com.
Long Green Parkway at Spring Park Drive, still an injury accident. They're working there. Also, Shady Grove Road at Broad River Road.
Yeah, she didn't. All right. Sorry. Huh?
I think she's younger than me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Last segment. And we will move on to a Friday episode.
So I actually do think Nick Saban's just been reading like blogs and getting his information from blogs because he's clearly wrong about a lot of the stuff that he said. I really don't think Travis Hunter got $1 million from Jackson State.
There's been a lot of debate about whether Travis Hunter got any money to go there. Like because somebody else said that, and Dion basically fought back instantly.
Yeah. Well, Florida State fans were all upset.
Oh, it's one thing to lose a recruit to Miami. It's another.
You think we can break in?
Does anybody want Fireflies tickets? Does anybody want Fireflies tickets on the live stream? We don't know when they're. We don't know. We didn't get enough details. But if you want,
on the air.
I'm not.
She's gotta stop.
Right now, we're giving away Fireflies tickets. 2 pairs. Callers 4 and 5. 803-404-6100. If you want a pair of Fireflies tickets, Columbia Fireflies tickets, call Jen right now. 803-404-6100 is how you can do so. We'll take callers 4 and 5. 803-404-6100. Fireflies tickets right now. Call Jen. Get yourself some Fireflies tickets. What?
Fireflies tickets like 10 times.
I went to say
Just
it.
making it clear that they are Fireflies.
I went to say it one time, and all of a sudden, I couldn't remember what. Like, are they the Carolina Fireflies? Are they the Columbia Fireflies? Like,
They're just Fireflies.
$8:47 on a Thursday morning. Patrick Brett heading off to vacation here in just a little while. He will get out of here and drive up to Nashville, hang out, fly out to Austin, Texas, go enjoy a week-long trip out there. Have you got one food place that you're really excited about? Now you're on.
Terry Black's, the barbecue place, the one that you retweeted from Justin Stepp, that is number one. Unfortunately, I'm going to be there on a Saturday and Sunday, so it might be really busy, but that is the number one place that I want to attempt to go by far.
Okay. Anything in particular, burnt ends or just
beef ribs? Beef ribs. They're huge, and yeah, that's what I want.
Okay.
It's a beef state. It's a cattle state.
It is.
No pork. No pork going to be on the plate.
So we will be without Patrick Perrette for about 7 business days, I reckon. Monday Memorial Day, none of us will be on, and then he'll be back.
Our guy Casey on the live stream gave me some recommendations in Austin. He's our resident Texas fan.
Okay.
So I guess he's from. He either went to college just in Austin or is from Austin, but sent me a bunch of places on Twitter and the live stream.
Okay, so we've got that going for us. So we will do the show without Patrick for several days. We'll keep an eye on that Heat Celtics series and certainly catch up with him about that and see how that goes as we move through. PGA Championship is off and running out in Southern Hills Country Club out in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We'll catch up with our good buddy Kerry Tharp here in just a minute as well to talk with him about what is going on in the world of NASCAR. Certainly been very entertaining, and he gets to slow down for just a tad there with Darlington, with the Goodyear 400 coming to a close, and with the Labor Day event not far away either. So Kerry Tharp joining us now on the phone lines. And Kerry, real quick, Patrick will be out for the next about the next week and a half. He's going to Austin, Texas. You got any food suggestions for him? Anytime you've ever been out there, a specific food place that he should give a try?
Well, there's plenty of Tex-Mex out there, so I think he's not going to have a hard time at all to find something down there. But if he plays his cards right, he'll stop off in Fort Worth and go to the All-Star race, which is this weekend down in Texas Motor Speedway. But Austin is a fantastic area. In fact, I'll be heading there here in about 3 weeks. Our Xfinity Series sponsor, Sport Clips, headquarters is in Georgetown, Texas, which is about 45 minutes from Austin. But I think he'll have a big time. He might even run into Matthew McConaughey out there. You never know.
That is the hope. We are going to wander around the campus, so I hope I like to think Matthew McConaughey just kind of sits in a folding chair in the middle of Royal Stadium, just pondering.
There you go. Just when you see him, just say, all right, all right, all right.
He's Kerry Tharp joining us as he does. Real quick, it's a weird, I say it's a weird turnaround. Maybe it's not for you. You've done it so long. How is the turnaround when you go from the Goodyear 400 to the Labor Day event for you? Is there, because I feel like for an outsider, for all of us outsiders, it feels like the majority of the hay is in the barn for the Mother's Day event, but there's got to be some changes, or are there changes you make to get ready for Labor Day?
Well, absolutely. And, last year was really the first time that we'd had two events here at Darlington, two regular scheduled events since 2004. Yet those were still impacted by the COVID. And so this will be really the first year, Bill, that we've had, no restrictions on our races for having both races. And so you're right. There's not a whole lot of time in between. You take a few days to catch your breath, which, I've tried to do here the last 4 or 5 days, and then you get right back on it. And that Cup Series race, the Cookout Southern 500, is the leadoff race for the playoffs. And so you take a lot of interest on who's winning and who's battling for that 16 playoff positions. And, it's some things that you mentioned, the hay's in the barn. Well, it's not quite in the barn, but a lot of things that we've done for this spring race, we certainly apply to the fall, but it's a different dynamic. It's not the throwback weekend, but there's still so much history and heritage associated with Darlington, particularly that Cookout Southern 500.
He's Kerry Tharp joining us as he does each and every week. Now, I need you and Jen to give me a little insight here. How does this work this weekend? We've got the All-Star race, the NASCAR All-Star Open that starts at 5:30 Eastern time on Sunday. As you mentioned, it's at Fort Worth, 50 laps. And then at 8 o'clock, I guess we transition into, it's the All-Star Open. And then at 8 o'clock, we transition into the All-Star race. So give us a little breakdown of what is going on this weekend.
Well, you probably need a rule book to figure it out. I was involved with that for many, many years. And, it's just really a fan event. Although the winner of the All-Star race gets $1 million, and that's nothing to sneeze about. But it's a fan-driven event. I think the format this year is even changed from last year. I think they're even instituting some of the pit stops there on on pit road as far as a competition between the different crews. I do know there's a 50-lap shootout at the end of the All-Star race. If you're in the Open, that means you haven't qualified yet for the All-Star race, but I think the first two finishers, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Jen, advance to the All-Star race. You also have a fan vote that'll be decided this weekend, and somebody will get into the event based on a fan vote. So it's a interesting conglomeration of racers and everything. But I tell you what, at the end of the deal, everybody's racing for that $1 million, and that's, like I said, that's a pretty hefty payday. But as far as exactly what the format is, I may have to get online and do a debriefing on that before I can get too deep into it.
25 labs, 50. Yeah, it's kind of confusing, but for sure they were asking yesterday, well, do they kind of take it easy on each other? Oh, no. Just because it's an exhibition race, they're going for money.
Oh yeah, and I've seen a lot of tempers flare in the All-Star race years ago at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and everybody wants to get a trophy, and certainly $1 million is not chicken feed, and so I think that when you get down to the nitty gritty on that last few laps, I think it's pretty much you take the gloves off and go for the win.
So we're going to do picks for the Open and for the All-Star race. We know there could be something missed or lost in there. So I guess probably this is a good place to start, because I did give Bill a list of who is in the Open and then the list of so far who are set to be in the All-Star race. So I would say, Carrie, why don't you start? And who do you think will win the Open? And then who do you think will win the race?
I'm thinking he's in the Open because he hasn't won a Cup race yet, and that's Tyler Reddick. Is he in the Open?
He is.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick to win the Open.
Bill just threw his arms up in the air as well.
He was one of the few guys I knew.
Well, I was kind of thinking Austin Dillon.
Oh.
What?
Are you taking Austin Dillon?
Yeah. Is that who you wanted?
He's
going by names he knows. How sad is that?
You're out of names you know.
The only other one is.
That's a good pick, too.
So you went Dillon? All right, I'm taking.
Cole Custer would be a good call.
I'm taking Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Okay.
That one sounds familiar. I think Reggie took him a couple weeks ago. I'm over here just.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll go back to more familiar names for you, Bill. We got about a minute left. So
for the All-Star race.
For the All-Star race, who you got, Carrie?
I'm going to go with Kyle Busch. He's really good at Texas, and I just think it's time for him to win the All-Star race. I'll take Kyle Busch.
Good call. I'm thinking it's a Kyle Larson. It's another Kyle.
Okay.
So I don't know. He and both Kyles have been very successful here, so we'll see. What are you thinking, Bill? You're freaking out.
There's too many sheets. There's too much information. I have no clue what I'm doing right now. There is an information overload right now.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Bill.
Give me William Byron. I guess he's been racing really well lately, and so I'll go with him.
Good call.
Excellent. All right, wrap it up, Bill.
Carrie,
that's
a lot of information in a short segment. We look forward to you joining us next week, buddy.
Sounds good. Y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Take care. Right. Carrie Tharp, president of Darlington Raceway. Patrick,
have fun.
Patrick's gone. Jen and I tomorrow. Everybody have a great day.
Gamecocks, Braves, the NFL with live local radio. 107.5 The Game. WNKT.
Yeah, there's Casey. Class 2, yeah. Probably the best time you could have gone to Texas. Yeah. Nice. I'm pumped. Flying out 6 a.m. Saturday morning. So I'll work tonight, drive straight to Nashville through the night, then it's time. Appreciate it, Anthony.
All right, everybody.
Everybody, take care.
Have a great day.